Not this pod ended up being you to be the most agreeable.
That's hate.
It be happening like that. Remember when I first came and I was all anxious about Lex? I didn't think me and Lex were gonna vibe.
Why not?
Because based off of some of the shit he would say. Like one of the last things that always sticks with me is when you were like, you asked a question like, what is it that women can do in relationships, or I don't know,
something women music.
Yeah, exactly. And he was like, wear less makeup, and I was like, oh my goodness.
It was how he said it though. I understood what he was saying because I agree with the sentiment. We started also.
Yeah, but I was, but I need to find it now because I remember it being like, we can't talk like mental labor. Like there were so many more in depth, better things I thought. But just I thought, I don't know. I thought our personalities might bump heads, but we end up trauma bonding.
Yeah. That's what.
So there you go.
He's not malicious. Now that you know him, he's not malicious intent.
No,
you know what I mean?
all.
That's never been like his forte. You know, so
Yeah.
which is ever since we was kids, he's kind of been like that. So yeah, I feel weird talking about him when he's not here without him responding. So without him having a response pattern to that, I was like, we wait for that.
Yeah.
I should hit him up now.
Yeah.
Zoe hit me last week. He was like, yo, you do this little thing. I said, yeah, but that's because like you give people space and time. I've also realized as I've gotten older, like, yo, the more you give people time, like the better it is, because then you can reflect back on like how certain things kind of like went, you know, and then how you moved. Which I feel like in older me now, I don't say as much crazy shit like I used to when I was young, just to get shit off because I was hurt.
Yeah.
So there's like a big difference, like in that versus, you know, how I used to respond to things. So now I can look back and just be like, you good, and not feel like, oh, I made myself look like an asshole the last time you and I spoke.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Speaking
Come from
rationally.
emotions.
Yeah. Just reacting versus giving
listening
grace.
to react, listening to respond.
Exactly.
Right.
So, but I do think like, you know, it's a fine balance between like giving people space and space becoming like another hurdle, or space becoming making things harder to reconnect because now there's been too much time or too much space. I think it sometimes can make the reconnect, if it goes too long, a little bit more difficult, you know? So I definitely think it's a fine balance of like, okay, let it breathe, but now not let it get stale, if that makes sense.
No, it does. But also, like, I'm getting older too. Just like all the rest of us, I guess, right? But, like,
He's literally the youngest
like
one
it's
in
just
the room.
me. But we're getting older though,
Yeah.
right? So like responsibilities, whether you got kids or not, like grown adult responsibilities just hit different. You know what I mean? And actually, I got some shit that I felt like was gonna fire y'all up anyway in the beginning of the episode, and in the middle. Where I feel like because you told me that she was coming today, I was like, let's get the opposing, like opposite sex thing, you know, going 2v1 is cool. You know what I mean? Like I'm crazy enough, you know what I mean, to go ahead and let it rock. I'll let y'all know who we got with us after the top of the music. That seems crazy to do.
Oh my God.
After the top of the music, I'll let y'all know who we got in here. Let's go ahead. Yes. I want to welcome y'all to the You Wasn't Outside podcast on the Grown Folks Podcast Network. I'm one of your hosts, not doing the most normal as Karl. To my front, I have the legend. Being weird, extra weird for the fuckhead. Juicy J.
Just a bunch of weirdos.
And it's embraced.
And to her right, we have Miss Jess. Jess has just been a long time. That's crazy.
See?
Jess has been a long time listener of the pod. Today's videos feel like extra strong today, also because they don't normally be like this. Jess has been a long time listener of the podcast. She works within the San Diego community. We won't say specific unless she wants to tell us.
No, that's okay.
She won't tell us. That's fine. I won't tell y'all ass wipes either, though. All the ass wipes that are not ass wipes, that's cool. You guys are solid with me. But Jay thought it would be cool for her to, come in. I did not second guess it at all. I said, that's fine. I didn't.
Thank you.
we're good. You know what I mean? Mom and dad are not here today, so I was like, yeah, we can bring in people they've never seen before because they're not even here to see that, so it doesn't even matter. I'd be weird about that, you know, because they be here.
Like their home. I totally get it.
Absolutely, you know, but when they're not here, it's like, shit, they don't listen to this, so it's like, we good.
I'm cool with your dad now and your mom. I feel like that I'm at the level where I might get cussed out.
Yeah, they in Vegas right now.
Yeah, so.
She said it was 106. I was like, yo, we supposed to go.
Dude, when you told me that your parents were in Vegas, my grandmother just came back from Vegas, and she's maybe like 10 years older than them. And I know Vegas has this like reputation for being like this party spot for young people. But Vegas is popping for old people. Old people go on vacay there, especially here in SoCal. Yes. Like, that's like the fuck Palm Springs. They're going to Vegas.
I'd rather go to Palm Springs.
Me too. I think there's two type of old people: Palm Springs old people and Vegas old people.
Gamble.
Yeah, golf.
Exactly.
Well, you do both.
Golf.
Yeah. But I feel like Vegas has gotten a little bit more expensive. Also, can we just say Vegas is an ugly ass city outside the Strip? Have you been there? Like,
not in years.
No, don't, because like now it's ruined it for me. Because I'm just like, yo, like I feel like. When I go, I was like, I feel like I'm not a townie. That's what they go. You know, I feel like I live because CP lives out there, so it's like, yo, every time like I've gone to stay with him, he lives 25 minutes from the Strip, so I know what normal life look like. I'm like, why is there rocks?
You know, it's it's interesting you brought that up because this week I had a lot of blessings. This week I was in the struggle hard, and now I'm coming out. I mean, I still got a struggle ahead of me, but these next 2 weeks are a little bit more stabilized.
Great segue time too when you're done. Let me know.
But I had one of my homegirls who owns her own business. She's relocating to Vegas to open a business, and she actually called me and was like, "Hey, you know, I'm going out there this weekend for an open house for my business, and you know, I don't know if I want to move out there permanently. I'm thinking I might want to open up other locations." She was like, "You know what? I respect your hustle, your creativity, you know, your branding." She was like, "I just think that you haven't been in a position to succeed." She's like, "I just don't feel like the people, the right people have put you in a position to really be successful." And she was like, "I would love to like bring you on board and have you take over the location I start or potentially open a second location."
Yeah.
And I was just like, you know, I really try like to come with me, you know. To me, like people bringing their projects to me, that is like the ultimate like form of like respect and trust, like that would trust me with something that you're creating, you know, and you value my input. And so you know, I'm still planning on moving forward with my original move, but that's something I told her, like, you know, as she's developing over the next few months, that let's keep an open line of communication. Let me know how I can support her, and you know, once she's up and running, you know, fly me out. And you know, that might be something I could consider.
It's closer to here too, if you ever want to do it.
It is a little bit closer. But yeah, I have heard that it is like very, very, like, it's not very ugly, but I'm like, I'm not going outside. Like, I'm staying inside with my kids, or if I'm going outside, it's to find activities to do with my kids, you know?
It's not even like, to me, like, yeah, like outside the Strip is, well, okay, obviously, like if you go to like Summerlin and like certain spots, obviously there's nicer areas, but I feel like doing the job that I do, it's hard to sell somebody hope in a city like that. Because like, yo, it's like, all right, what did I tell you? Like, I speak life into you, and it's like, yo, man, you could really get into the hotel industry.
Right.
Like, what else is Vegas really known for besides hospitality? You know what I mean? Like, hey, really get it right, you get that Luxor job. You know what I mean? like I just feel like it's, or business, but I feel like you got to go, like, to school and all that other stuff to be able to have it, you know? So it's like, there's certain places, LA's another place where I feel like here it's kind of hard too, because again, we live in a very expensive ass city. So I feel like I be going in circles all the time, right? Some of the things you've talked about is like normal things that I'm used to, like working at work, and it's like, fuck, we got to figure this one out, because if not, this don't make no sense to me on how we gonna get this to work.
Exactly. The math ain't mathing.
Yeah, and the more expensive it gets, I feel like they showed this dude 6 times already. I'm having issues. But anyway, the more expensive it gets, the harder it gets for me to like have like these conversations with people in terms of like what's next for them.
And as when you're like in a space of being like in, you know, and not having stability, and you're trying to navigate, and you're trying to, you know, come up, and it gets tricky, because I had found out this week someone had contacted me about a direct resource. They said like they knew that some funding came into a program. There was like no funding. I had reached out to my friend's pastor in LA was like, I'll even relocate if there's any housing or shelters. He was like, there's nothing. All the funding's gone, and they're cutting more funding. But I got a head tip that there was some funding for a very specific program, and you have to call and use very specific language. But it was for like a more permanent housing situation. And I thought about it. Like, I was like, should I reconsider my move? You know, like this would put me in the position to have permanent housing here versus just like a shelter, you know? But I started thinking about like what you were just saying, like the long term as a sole parent of 3 children. All 3 of my children are neurodivergent. My oldest has ADHD and the 2 are autistic. Marvel is just more intense with being nonverbal. And I was just like, this is not like conducive for the type of lifestyle that I want to live, the kind of space that I need, or even financially. So yeah, I get with this program. They get me set up to move into a place. They help me the first 6 months and they wean me off. But then what? Unless I magically become a millionaire overnight, you know what I mean? I'm still even working 3 jobs when I just had Jaylee. I was still scraping by. So I was just like, you know what? Like, I don't have that hustle in me anymore, you know, and the city just doesn't support my lifestyle at this point, or the lifestyle I'm trying to build for me, my family, my children. But enough about us. Let's get to Jess.
Jess, how you doing today?
I'm doing good.
First of all, I forgot. Whoa, time out. 2 things. Yes, we're going to get back to you. I'm really good at bringing it back.
Okay.
I'm really good.
No, I've noticed.
First things first.
Yeah.
Right? Based off of what she said. Why are you pointing at me? Because what you brought up, it goes into what we were talking about before. Instinctively, I was going to go in a circle, and you missed no matter what. So, right? We're all good. You catch it on cam if you know what I'm referencing.
Yeah, I do.
The pod's not ending next week.
Yes.
Right?
I said that on my Instagram today.
Okay, cool.
I'm glad that you're confirming.
By the time I would have seen it, would have been Wednesday.
Yeah.
Right? Like my Instagram skills have been slowly diminishing over time, especially with notifications off. I only go on there to like look at stuff like this. I've become old. Where you
I might be playing
videos.
on it a little bit more now that I have a little bit more capacity. I might jump in.
Look, I was trying to get a hold of you because I was circling around, and I was like, "How do I get a hold of him?" Every single message that I like responded to him, or any post that he did, either on Girls and Pokes or you wasn't outside, read and not responded to. So you definitely not on it. Because I was like, how do I get a hold of him so I can tell him I'm here and I'm lost?
You know what the problem is too? I'm glad that you said that. Is that usually when I read that, when I do the grown folks, it's Monday through Friday. And maybe even my own too though. Like it's really Monday through Friday. When I go on mine, and if the messages say like 19 to 20, I'm overwhelmed.
You're like, no,
yeah,
I'm good.
I'm like, no, and my mom is another part of that problem where I be telling her, and she at the age now she just don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Right. But like I be like, yo, if you send me 12 videos and they're 3 minutes long each, I'm not getting that.
That's all my time. That's on social media.
You're gonna
I get that.
Me or your mom?
Yeah.
If I look at my phone right now, my mom sent me like four YouTube videos, and I'm like, Mom, stop! You're just clogging up my memory. Like it's okay.
You're just
like,
clogging up my memory.
So I'm glad people know, because I say that because it's like I'm not doing that out of disrespect.
No.
Because when I do open it, because of the job that I do, I'll walk away and have my shit open, and like 30 minutes will go by or an hour.
Fast.
And so it's like by then, whenever I come back, it's like, oh shit, let me close this, let me get to what I need to do. So it's usually like a fleeting thing. And then when I sit down and I'm still, so when I have responded to you in the past, when you sent, that's when I'm still. And I'll also, I'm so bad at this, but I try to make it a point to respond back to everyone that like when I am still, I'll go through all 17 messages.
Yeah.
Right?
Same.
And then I'll try to hurry up and speed through to the point of the video and be like,
one.
that's crazy. Yeah. I try to respond. Because I got another boy, he's from LA, he hella rude though. He be like, so you just gonna read my shit and not say nothing? But we not ending the pod because I wanted to make sure that Jay has some shit to do every week.
He wanted to
Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Don't you say the fuck. Don't you say it. Don't you do it. Don't. Right? It's not for my own selfish reasons either because I'm still ready to go. But when she was like, I'll probably be in July, I was like, you know what? We've got a few more sessions left in us. We can keep doing the pod. So, and it's not going to hurt. The shit's already up here. All we got to do is come and sit down. So I was like, yeah, we'll do it. Unless Lex hits me up. And then, we'll figure it out by then. But if you don't, it don't matter because I'm like I said, I'm still at the point right now where I am ready to let it go. I just feel like Michael Jordan with the Wizards. Kind of like, I can still do it, but I know I can't give it the same amount of effort I did when I started. Speaking of which, went out last night to a karaoke bar off a Convoy. I'm going to get back to you. But I had to make sure I get this out of respect. So Star's birthday was within the last 2 months, and her being Star, y'all are the same person. Let me just tell you right now. Let me get this shit off real quick. Right? So yesterday, like me and
always liked her, I told you.
I do too.
Yeah.
She's amazing. And even the way it was all set up was dope because it's this karaoke bar called The Hive.
Yeah.
You're in a room like this with a TV with all your people. It's just
intimate.
not even. Yeah, it's not random people. They got food and stuff like that
That's
too.
all
A
the
full
Asian
bar.
karaoke spots are.
They Asian. It's all Convoy. They definitely.
Convoy.
I love those spots. Much more private. It's not as embarrassing.
All the music selection was solid.
Food,
now they got
drinks
iPads now
to the
with it.
room.
So like the sky's the limit. We went from T-Pain to Next like all of them. Lauryn Hill, strumming my pain. Like the whole nine.
Sing along with all your friends is
that
therapeutic
shit was
as fuck.
fun. Cecil was there too, right? So it was a great time. And
fuck y'all for not inviting me.
Well,
that sounds fun.
We can do it. We can plan one.
we could do one all together.
Dude, I did that for my birthday last year at a Punch Bowl Social.
That sounds so fun.
It's too expensive there, but I'd rather go there. Convoy is better. It's cheaper.
I didn't even.
How did you get invited to Star's birthday?
That's my point.
Okay.
Right? Because part of it is like we haven't had problems, but where she's at, like at our job and shit like that, she's completely different now in a different role.
Yeah.
Saw her at the DNC, like hugged up with Shirley Weber and stuff. I was like, yo, like
she's like a politician.
She going. I was like, this couch, it ain't for her no more.
Call her
Right?
Miss
Yeah,
President.
it's a different couch.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then and she's bad at text messaging too. So like you can only imagine like what our conversations are like. So I got the invite 3 weeks ago. And I was like, yeah, I'll be there. Star Fashion was like, yo, make sure you RSVP because spots is closing up. And if you can't make it, who gives a shit? I was all right, cool. I RSVP'd then. So yesterday, my daughter had dance, a golf tournament. We went out to eat with a young man that I was telling you about I was talking about on my Instagram. So I'm making it a point to talk to him a lot more.
Good.
So we go out to PB and man, I get sick, right? I don't know what it was. Something like jacked me up though, right? So then I get home. Shit was supposed to start at 7. We get home at 7:20. I tell my wife, I'm like, look, I know y'all take y'all time and you want to like kind of, get into a groove
but
and everything.
I need you to hurry the fuck up.
Yeah, but
This isn't the time. This isn't the day.
But see, y'all fake because that's not the energy y'all have when you get rushed. It's kind of like, no, don't rush me. Yeah.
Because now I'm in a bad mood and I don't want to go.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can go without me, but if you go without me, then we're going to have motherfucking problems.
That's what I'm saying. Oh, let me get that. That's me.
So don't rush me, but I'll hurry up.
And so I said, that's what I said to her. I was like, look, hey, just bring the makeup in the car. I'll drive. I know you got to do your hair and everything. I was like, I got it. I don't want to be too late, though. You know, like we already late.
Yeah.
Not because of you, though. It's because of, me.
Yeah.
So then we get a message at like 7:30 from Star in the little app thing that she got. Hey, it wouldn't be my party if I wouldn't be late. I said, shit.
We're good.
Yeah, we get there at 8. She had probably got there 15 minutes before. And then Cease is sitting in the seat. And I was like, how long you been here? Shit, I've been here since the start time.
I was going to say, he seems like the one on time.
Because he likes to leave early. But I think now he's kind of, it's funny.
Because
like
he likes to leave early.
But he don't do that all the he doesn't do it anymore like he used to. I see she used to carry cash in his pocket just so that he could just throw down on his portion of the bill
done. There's my
and
part.
be out. That's
Yeah.
He's smooth with it.
Hold up, that's a pro move. I'm going to start doing
That's
that.
what I'm
That's
saying.
what I do because I don't want to deal with the whole splitting. And I'm like, you guys figure it out. I know what I ordered already.
And he be in there, the tips in there.
That part.
Yeah.
So don't come at me.
Yeah.
So it was a great time. What the things that had me dying was one. She said, "Look, in between every song, everybody got to say something nice about me."
I love
Blunt
that.
about it, and I was like, you know what? That's funny as fuck. But yes, like, let us all tell you why we fuck with you. And so, and I even said, I was like, look, I've known you for about 11 years now. And at this point, I was like, yo, we've had arguments. You know what I mean? We've had our ups and downs. And I was like, yo, and the truth of the matter is she's always been positive. Like, it's never been an aggressive anger type of thing. It's always like, sister, I'm disappointed in the way you acted, right? And I say, yo, that level-headedness, and then all the things that people were saying around her, just talking about like her moving up and doing the things that she's doing in a political fashion.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, yo, you've been made for this like type of position type thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it was cool because it was a bunch of black people, right? And my wife. But it was a bunch of black people and everything, like just together, like and enjoying each other and like just hella warm and shit like that and just having a good time. So I loved it. So, but that was pretty much our weekend and then some baseball shit. Jess, how you been? I told you I'm good at bringing it back.
Black joy.
I know. I've been good. It was one of those weekends where it's rare. I work in social services, and it's rare that they allow us to do overtime. So they allowed it this weekend, and I jumped on it. I was like, give me my money.
Amen.
Like I told you before, we started the pod. I'm on this financial journey to paying off. And my partner, my boyfriend, or my man, I was like, how would you want me to respond to what I call you or who you are? And he was like, I prefer my man. I'm not a little boy.
Hey,
I was like, all right.
better give my uncle some respect.
I was like, sounds good. So, I was telling him on Friday about my bills and so forth. And he's like, how much do you owe, babe? And I was like, I'm at $7,000. And he's like, really?
Left?
Like that's it. Yeah.
Like all your debt.
Yeah. And he's like, that's nothing, babe.
That's
and I
pretty
was like, to me, it's a lot because I've been
Where'd you start at?
24. Yeah.
Girl,
two
you're
years ago. 2 years ago. But to me, it's a lot because it took me a long time to get here since I was paying originally my credit card and it was interest after interest after interest that was getting accrued. So I wasn't making any debt on actually, like on the debt. Like I wasn't making any dent on the debt.
Nah, you're almost to the promised land.
Yeah, no. So it feels good because I actually, when I met him, I told him, I was like, look, he was like I said, he was in the service and he used to be a financial advisor, counselor in there. And so
you felt intimidated?
When I met him?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Coming from his ranking and everything, it was a little bit intimidating, but he's such an easygoing, chill person. Like he doesn't make you feel that way at all.
Yeah.
So eventually, 6 months down the line, I let him know, I'm like, hey, look, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm trying to do. And he was like, have you ever thought about taking Navy Federal, taking out a loan and just doing it that way? And I'm like, no. And so I took out the loan. So that way, that just took all the interest.
Yeah.
And then I didn't have to pay any more towards any other debt that wasn't no longer being accrued on
and
there.
And you have just one.
So I have one thing. Yeah. So it's been interesting because like I was telling you, I went to the Ludacris concert on Thursday, which was crazy, but I was there.
Where was it at?
Rady Shell.
Wait, say that again?
The Rady Shell downtown. The Shell.
The beautiful Rady Shell.
Shell.
Kind of like on the outskirts.
Seaport Village.
Okay, there we go.
Over by Joe's Crab Shack.
It's a newer.
Across from.
I don't think I've ever been
Coronado.
there, but
But it's kind of a newer venue. I haven't seen anything there, but it's beautiful.
It's nice.
She was saying though that at Luda, he was mainly talking. That he was like came super late. He only performed an hour.
Like an hour. Most of the time was like snippets of his song. Like
he must have been mad at the promoter or something.
I think so, because at one point they're like, oh, they're calling me out, and people are booing, and then he came back out for maybe 2 more snippets, and then he left. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. So I say all that to say it's been a very busy weekend since Thursday night. That was Luda. Then Friday work all day, and then Saturday work, and then I'm a part of like different other organizations that I help out with. I mentor. I'm a facilitator with a program that I've been with for 13 years. So I always have something going on.
Right.
Always.
Just stay moving. Mm-hmm. That's what I told you, man. You could just be an adult and just shit just pile up out of nowhere.
Well, we were talking about that, like in that season where you're just like when you're going, but it gets to a point where, you have 3-4 different obligations in a day, and now you're just
depleted and giving minimum,
and you're not even present, and so it's like, you're not doing anything for yourself or the people that you are supposedly trying to make time for.
Right.
So like trying to find that balance of, yes, you do have to say more no's, but being more intentional instead of trying to do it all. Do what you can and do that well and with intention.
Definitely.
Because this running around, trying to hit everything, it's not, like, it's really not how we were designed to operate. And it's kind of like the rat race, you know? Mm-hmm. So it's fine. Like, some people, they thrive off of that. And, they can keep up with that pace of life. And it isn't draining for them. But for others, like, it's exhausting, you know, all of that output. And so people like me, when I thought I was someone who could go.
Right.
I'm like, oh, no.
Whoever tells you that they want to do that shit too, they're lying to you. Like, oh, I'm always on the go. Not saying like,
Yeah.
well,
No. Believe me. And then I asked, like,
been a
what are you
victim of
running?
that.
What are you running from? Like, and my partner's all like,
What are you running from?
Right.
Sit your ass still and deal with your trauma, girl.
Look, my man
What are
will
you
quickly be
running
like,
from?
have you sat with yourself today? And I'm like, okay,
That's a real question.
You're right. I've been trying to not really process that anger that I have for that incident or whatever.
Yeah.
So
We had to get over that hurdle. My wife used to be like, who are you talking to? Nobody. This is like the one time where all of them are asleep. You sleep, right? You just woke up right now. Like, all the shit I wanted to research earlier today that I said I was going to get to, I'm able to do at 11:30 at night tonight. You know what I mean?
Which is how I ended up on a Labubu rabbit hole.
oh my God, you're
From whatever 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. and was infuriated.
What is this?
I don't exactly.
Yeah, I try not to. I only look away for a second and then try to do everything else. Oh, you know what? What kind of shit they on right now? Well, she's talking about we do keep the TV on to keep everybody's nerves down. So
Gotcha.
she was nervous as shit when she came in. I ain't shit. I told you forget though after a while.
You do. Sometimes you forget too much, like me.
Speaking of which, like my daughter was recently when you left here, she was talking about Labubu shit for like 2 fucking weeks.
No,
man.
I'm gonna find her. She's on my list.
But my wife is like one of those. She's one of those ones where it's like, oh, there's a Prop 69 warning on this. I ain't getting you that. So she's one of those. Once she found a little sticker, she's like, I ain't getting you that. I was like, you know that shit's everywhere, right? Just to let you know.
Jaylee, my oldest, just asked me. She's seen that something similar, and she was like, I don't know, Mom. And I was like, girl, they got that outside of every fast food restaurant. So what, you don't want that burger anymore?
Yeah.
Like, I was like, they're just saying that so they don't get sued.
Yeah. I mean, shit, it's here. It's in the water supply. You let that stuff go. So, I'm going to start this pot. Anybody else got anything else they want to get off real quick on how they doing and whatnot, or are we solid?
No, I think we're good.
All right, so all right, we're gonna go ahead and do random shit to fill in time to start out the day. Do I want to bring that up now? Nah, I'll wait on it. Don't worry about it. All right, don't worry about me. I'm just thinking out loud.
He's trying to think if he wants to stir us up now or later.
What's your worst roommate situation?
I've had a million of them. I probably
but there's like or like pet peeves that you've had with different roommates. That's better. Let's not talk about the worst roommate situation, but just pet peeves that you've had. You've had roommates before? Mm-hmm. Yeah. We could take parental roommates too. I've had parental and single room. Let me just tell you, living on your own is
I know the site. We're all like,
so luxurious.
it's luxurious, but it's also overrated. I think so. I've never lived truly by myself because anywhere I've ever lived is either I was broke or out here is just too fucking expensive to like live in a 1-bedroom. But I'm just saying, like, I can probably enjoy it, but also I don't mind living with someone. Long as it's the right person, though.
Would you have roommates now?
No, I wouldn't have a roommate. No.
Okay.
No. I'm just saying I wouldn't mind, like, my wife. I have a wife, yes, it's a great roommate, you know. You trying to set me up.
Because you're over here talking
She's going to be like, I'm his roommate. You going to get me in trouble for no reason. She can hear me now today.
Because I know you would not get a roommate. That's why I'm like, what are you talking about?
I'd rather live here before and I did. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather live, but they're like the worst roommates.
Spouses
and
family don't count as roommates.
No, but okay, so then that's not my only roommates because I went to college. Yeah,
I know.
And that for 6 years, I was living with like random people sometimes. Like every time it would be at least somebody random, except for my cousin. I want to say my third year, which was his last year. But other than that, like I've had random people. Matter of fact, I was living in this place called Campus Place, and when my cousin moved out, they were like, oh, we're going to match you with somebody. I could not find somebody to live with me who I like wanted. I was like, fuck it, I'll roll the dice on this one. So then they showed me, like, they give you like a little, like, a warm handoff type of thing. Like, yo, like, we going to tell you who you talking to. Yeah. Well, no, we didn't meet. I didn't meet her. I just got the paperwork on it. Yeah, it was like, oh,
about me.
Yeah.
But they won't tell you ethnicity, though. They was like, yo, he's from Bakersfield. And I was like, oh, fuck, here we go.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
It could be anything.
Yeah, I was like, it could be anything.
here's where they got dead giveaway, man. Bro was like, oh, enjoys farming, all kind of shit. And I'm like, oh, shit. But you know what? He turned
It could be
out,
Latino. Or Mexican.
Yeah, you're right. But he was white as shit when he came.
But he was cool as hell.
But he was cool as hell.
Okay.
And I brought him to like one black event one time, right? It was a Divine Nine Greek party.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And he wore the Wranglers and the belt buckle and shit.
Not
He
mad
looked
at-
like,
Did not care.
yeah, he had the dirt from rubbing his hands there and everything. And, you know, he was dancing. He found a girl. Then he found his group. So after he found his group when school started,
Yes.
we started
Thank you.
breaking off doing our own
Goodbye.
thing. Then he got a girlfriend after that. I watched his whole maturation in which he married her too. So
Wow.
like, and they have
Kinda
kids
cool.
and stuff. Yeah, I haven't
You guys
talked to him in a
still,
minute.
Keep in touch.
No, because he's like, I'm bad at we just talked about it. I'm
Yeah.
bad at it, and then like based on like his culture, I
Yeah.
guess you could say, farming culture don't really go with like social media and shit. He really just be
Outside.
outside. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole farming TikTok. I'm tapped in.
Oh no, all the problems that we have right now, I told you, Middle America has found out how to use cell phones now. This is where all the wild comments have come from. Usually we used to read them in papers like Florida Man. Like, no, they got Florida cell phones now. Like that's who's be on here spreading misinformation and believing dumb shit is those people, right? They're the less educated. I hate to say it, but it's the truth. But yeah, I hated living with my cousin. Let me say this, because even when I graduated, he was like, "Oh, we can get an apartment out here." No, we can't. Like I live with you already. I told the story about the electricity thing before, so let me tell the other thing that used to grind my gears. Bro would never throw food away.
Like he'd leave it on the counters.
Yes, and he was 150 pounds, 149, soaking wet, 5'9". He was skinny, right? So he'd eat 2 pieces of like a McGriddle and then leave it on the desk. And at that point, that's when I realized, like, yo, I'm never eating McDonald's like this again because
It
this
doesn't
shit
go
didn't
bad.
age.
Could have picked
It was
up
just
and ate
brick hard like
Yeah.
this. It was just like that.
It did not mold.
Did not
Yeah.
mold, no mold on the cheese. And I'm saying 3-4 days.
What do you mean? I find French fries 6 months old and underneath the car seat.
They be hard as shit, huh?
Hard, but not mold at all. Not an ounce of.
I was like, we put this in our body. I was
Yes.
like,
Can you imagine trying
Don't
to
even
digest that?
stink.
yeah, that's what I was like. You know what? I won't touch that. So I led the pack on that. That was one of my roommate things that I
Okay.
hated. What about y'all?
My biggest one was I think like roommates are so hard for 1,000 reasons, but my pet peeves are like when it comes to the bathroom cleanliness. And I had one roommate who she would always, you know, like when you like detangle your hair in the shower. Not
need
you.
the water.
Not me.
But- yeah.
Not you. that's hate. That's not hate, but that's
Can't relate. But you know, you detangle it, you get all
by
in-
choice. Did you hit me with a by choice? Oh my God. Go. Just go.
I didn't.
Just
but-
go. It felt that way.
But maybe I was thinking it.
Oh my God.
My choice as I take the hat off is hilarious. But no, so she used to get all the hair. Now, what I do with my hair when I had it is I roll it in
Make it
a
a
ball and then I put it on the side of the ledge
Yeah.
and then I throw it away when I get out.
You all are the same.
Do you know what she would do?
Holy shit.
She would, I mean, at
Leave
least.
it on stuck on the side of the shower.
Oh, so you're familiar?
Yeah.
She would literally spread. It looked like freaking
Oh wait, like
Chewbacca on the shower wall.
Chewbacca.
I walk in the showers. I'm like, is this Star Wars? What's happening?
Oh my God.
Like,
She gonna hate
literally,
this, but
hair
98%
all
of the
over.
time, my wife is good at cleaning it. There's a 2% where I'm like, man, you could have left it. You could have. She gonna get mad at that.
You spread it. She spreads it on the wall. She lets
No,
it go down to the
it'd be
drain.
like one spot, but she'd be like, oh, I forgot, and then, but it's not all the time.
She
Right?
coming for you. You want to
Like I
mention it
said,
one time.
98% of the time, she's really good at it. Like 365 days, 346, she's gonna do it. So it's like, sure, some grace.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. But no, this was her standard. That was her practice.
Yeah, fuck that.
Because she didn't want it to go down the drain, but oh my God, and it just grossed me out. And then I've lived with men and women. I've had several sets of men roommates, and one.
I can only imagine.
Dude, one male. I prefer living with men over women as roommates. Honestly.
Why?
Because.
I'm interested. No, I had a male roommate, and I actually didn't mind it.
Yeah,
but
I think that like the day to day seemed a little bit less contentious sometimes. I think like with just having kind of different different energies. You know, there is a difference of energies, because I don't want to contribute to any stereotypes about women being emotional or this or that. However, there is different energies that men and women bring, and on a day-to-day, as we're moving out of the house, and you know, we get overwhelmed, like where I might be overwhelmed about this or that, or you know, oh, I can't leave the dishes. Like male energy might be like, it's all right, calm down.
So let me ask you this then, right? Based on what you're saying, right? Would you say that your energy is turned up sometimes with like when other women are in the house too? Not even just them, but like, do you feel like you respond differently because it may be another woman in the house that you're staying with? Like my male energy, so to bail you, right? Yeah. My male energy, I feel like pride already kick in when like somebody asks me something. It's like, hey, who the hell are you talking to? Right? I wouldn't respond that way to y'all.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes. There may be, maybe in times where if some kind of agitation comes up, maybe the approach would be different. I don't know now that I'm at this point in my age, but I think more so like it's more like when like I'm pretty high strung. Like that's no secret.
I'm glad you said that. I be loving when people know about themselves. That's fire. Go ahead.
I'm pretty self-aware.
Yeah, I like that.
I got a lot of flaws, but self-awareness ain't one of them.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm very.
You all right with me? You start today. Go ahead. I was fucking with you.
I'm just a little high-strung, just a tiny bit.
Oh man.
So when I'm all like over the place, and then I'm bringing that kind of high-strung energy, like to another woman who might be feeling overwhelmed because of that kind of heightened energy. I think that's where it can be like, versus if I'm bringing it to a male, like he might respond differently to me. So I don't think that I'm responding differently. I think that men sometimes have a better response with me. So it actually, now that I'm talking about it out loud, it has nothing to do with the other women and everything to do with me. Yeah. Which is why I gravitate towards, you know, male-dominated industries. Like I went to barber college. I did the valet.
Like you feel comfortable.
There's a different level of comfortability that I've found in men's company that I haven't always found around women. I think I have a lot of trauma around women as well, from like my own mother wounds, grandmother wounds, and friendships.
Trusting. It sounds like a lot of trust. Mistrust
exactly. Women. Yeah, exactly. Damn, we're diving in deep to this. Yeah.
I didn't mean to go there.
No.
She's like, but I'm gonna pick up right there.
I'm an oral processor, so you know, versus like where I feel like with men, it's been a little bit safer for me sometimes. Yeah, which is odd because men are scary.
And with your male roommate, because I'm gonna tailor this back to you too. Was that your first time living with a male?
Mm-hmm. Well, yes, it was.
Is it the one that when I came? Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, I lived with someone for 8 years. We were just strictly friends.
Right.
I live in a house with 3 bedrooms, and at the time he needed a place, and I was like, hey, there's another bedroom there, and why not? And
cash.
He
8 years worth of rent is pretty good.
Damn, I didn't realize that you guys lived together that long.
Yeah, I mean, I lived in the house for 12 years. 12 years I've lived in the house.
Not even cuddled? Nothing.
No. No. See, so that's the funny thing is like I've never been one to like cross, like I never shit where you eat because you don't want, you know what I mean? Like even in the spoken word community, like I know that there is a lot of
hooking up,
and that's not me because I never want I never want to be
ain't nothing about some like poetry that make you feel hot and ready.
Yeah, no.
Red fish, blue fish. Go ahead, my bad.
Roses are red, violet no, but as far as I've had 4 roommates
in your lifetime.
In my life. And it hasn't been that bad actually, like to be honest with you. I believe the hardest part living with female roommates was I'm really OCD and clean, so my level of clean is different than other people. So I recognize that I had to really be careful of having certain expectations, because of course we know expectation is just you end up being disappointed if you're having this level of expectation. So I had to down it a notch. I was fortunate enough to live by myself 3 years when I was in North Park.
You think it was great?
I thought it was great, and then it was also lonely. I will say
Bam,
that
that's
it
what
was.
I'm saying.
It could be lonely. You get home and you're just like, you want to be like, guess what happened, or guess who I ran into.
You just got to soak on your own.
And you're just
That
like,
shit sounds
I had
depressing as fuck.
this huge, big brown sofa that I would just like literally, I couldn't even put my feet down, so I'd just sit there and swing and be like, that was a good night. You know,
Sounds
it was
like
in
a
North Park.
dream.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Like that was a good night. It's great.
I have to touch real quick because I know Zoe heard it. I know he's gonna be like, she said it. She didn't say nothing because you just refer to women as female. and I
Of
think
women, sorry.
And I'm no. But I think because when you said it, it didn't jolt the same reaction that from when I hear it from black men.
Big ass black man too.
And any big
I'm just being funny.
Well, I think the attitude too, the way it's spoken of, like it could be like female versus just like, you know, I live with two other females.
I think the context of
whatever.
what he was saying with it, on top of what he was saying, it had already
and
triggered
I just
her.
feel like, well, in the black culture, I've seen black men refer to women as female, and it's
Never on a
and
positive
it's with
note.
a tone that is not, even when they're not like talking shit, they're just like, yeah, my female, I expect my female to be next to me the whole time, or if we're going out, my female better act right, or you know, I expect my female, like it just is said with the tone of like lack of respect to me. So I think that, you know, that's why, I mean, I don't like it in general, but I think that's why it particularly hits when my fellow black man says it. Okay, sorry, I just had that
that's all
awareness.
good.
Which is funny because right now when I was talking to Mike about how he would want me to like say partner, what have you. I usually say partner because I feel like we're in a partnership. Someone asked me recently, like, why do you say partner? Like that's
And
what
I told my
sounds
wife
like a
that
little
before
kid.
we got here. I was like,
Yeah.
she be saying the word. Can I be real?
Yeah,
Did you think
it
she was
sounds
gay?
from the
Hell
other side. Yeah.
I was like, yo,
I never thought that, but
Yeah.
as
I'm
soon
glad
as
you
you
brought that. Babe, she cleared the air.
No.
She told us why she says the word partner. We're good.
Babe, what do you mean we're good? What if she was queer?
I
We'd
made
be
it seem like it was
good.
bigger than it was. It was
No.
literally a 30-second conversation. My bad.
No, and it's so funny. And
Happy Pride Month.
I'll be honest with you. I never had thought about it until one of my coworkers would say my partner, and I was like, why do you say that? And he was like, because she's like, we're in a partnership. Like we do things equally. We make sure that we
Exactly.
respect each other equally. And then someone recently asked me from the scholarship board that I'm in, they're like, why do you call him partner? Like, why not boyfriend? And I said, well, first of all, he says I'm not a boy. And don't call me,
Exactly.
you know, he's like, would you call your brother boy? Yes. My brother's 13. However, for me, I prefer my man. And I was like, that sounds like you're my man. Like, he was like, well, I don't mind being your man. But anyways, I digress. So going back, what was I saying in regards to partner? But I was asking him about the whole, I totally lost my point.
No,
I'm so
it's
sorry.
okay. We do
We're
that
talking
too.
about females and calling them females.
The female thing.
Yeah.
I didn't have any issues with my female.
Or you said you were
friends.
talking to him earlier, and then Mike had brought up something, and that's
Yeah,
what it was.
see, you caught me. You know,
No, it's
I'm
okay.
on-
We do that all the time. We
Yeah.
just sometimes we know how to fake it better. That's all because we've been doing
Yeah.
it longer.
Yeah.
Also,
Well, I just think that it was back to the comment that he said about a boy, like, you know, like your brother's a little boy, your brother's a boy, versus like him being my boyfriend. Like
Yeah.
I'd rather say, like, he'd rather have me call him significant other.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but
But I mean, in
significant,
adulthood,
that's too many syllables.
yeah, I've heard just as like I've gotten older, I've heard people say, non-queer people say partner as a form of respect, kind of like, you know, like boyfriend, girlfriend. It doesn't sound serious, right? Like, oh, your little boyfriend, your little girlfriend. Where partner, it you know, alludes this kind of like commitment, right? You're not like, this is my partner, like my
Right.
life partner, versus like, this is the flavor of the week. Like,
Right.
This is my
Right.
little boy toy. Like,
That's real. Would you go a full year without talking for $1 million?
I might kill myself.
Why do we circle back?
Why do we always laugh?
This is why we're here till July, folks. This is why we're here till July. Fucking
Girl said she ain't killing herself on my watch.
I did everything.
I did it at my funeral. I did
I
everything I can, you guys.
Jesus
I did
Christ,
everything
man.
I can.
Jesus, you got a dark sense of humor. You're
I
lucky
do,
I'm here
I'm
for it.
sorry.
You're lucky I'm here for
And
it.
Jessica does not.
Man,
Just doesn't.
Zoe was on your ass last week. He was like, hey, man, stop saying that. If he was on, hey, I felt him, though. But if you could, for $1 million, go a year without talking.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, go ahead.
Sew my mouth shut
For $1 million.
for a meal. Put tape, do something.
Situation with kids, everything, you can still do it.
Yeah, we're going to have to sign. We're going to have to write.
The whole nine.
We'll have to be committed.
I said no.
No?
That would
Yeah.
be hard.
There's other ways to
For a meal?
communicate.
Yeah, I know.
I
But
got a nonverbal son. Maybe I'm more open to it now.
I went real morbid too. And it was like, yo, what if somebody like passed and they asked me to speak at their funeral?
Well, I was thinking, what about having machines that read for you, right? Isn't there like
Exactly.
machines
See
that
what
they
I-
can
Exactly.
that they can actually
You can
speak for
literally
you?
look at
So I'm about to get the real
your
Stephen
eyes.
Hawking on right now. Just being there. Well, he was a very good fellow.
You can write it and have your wife read it on behalf of you.
Yeah, that's true
There's
too.
workarounds.
Okay, now
There
Write
are
it in your notes,
workarounds.
have it verbally read.
she ain't read that
Think
shit.
about
Man.
parents.
You almost had me.
Parents.
She not read that
Parents
shit.
who are ASL or parents who don't speak English. You know, the kids translating the whole time.
Yeah, that
I
shit
don't-
look.
I don't know. Going back to what we were saying about even on like in the DMs, like how many times did I not send voice notes? Because usually I'm always on the go, and voice note is like the way to do things. So that might be a struggle, honestly.
Oh, you
Yeah.
know I love voice
You
notes.
love a good voice
Oh,
note.
you guys both know
You
I
gonna
love
use
a
Morse
good...
code? Hey, we gotta just listen to the taps.
Wait, what's that again? Rewind.
Yeah. what does the legend say? 2 taps and a long pause. Oh, that's an H.
Did this key change?
Yeah, what the fuck? Oh
He
my
said
god.
2 taps
And a
and
long-
pauses. Let me pull up the... Okay,
Let me
next
get the
one.
legend. Oh,
Hi. Oh, she said hi.
That's the M dash right there.
yeah, hell yeah. Man, I think it's an apostrophe. They don't fit there.
Okay.
So you said you can do it?
I
No,
can't
I don't
do
think
it.
I can do it.
I
would
had a
want to.
mandatory minimum of 4 million. I had that was what my prerequisite
Okay,
was.
how many dollars is it a day? I need a breakdown. Because maybe that's
365 a year. We're talking
a
about
million divided
Shit,
by
I'm bad.
365.
yeah, it's probably
'Cause-
like $300 a day.
See, if, I would have to use that
Just-
day math to motivate me. Hold up. I need to, how many zeros does a million have?
What's 1 million divided by 300?
Oh, he's smarter than us.
Oh shit! No,
Are you
I'm
really
not.
gonna be doing? You're gonna.
I don't
You're
know.
gonna say math was a prerequisite here.
I want to say that it's it's not my that's not my forte.
Hold on.
Yeah, go ahead and do the math. 1 million.
No, that's 100,000, right?
369.
You need
No,
to- it
that's
becomes
100
a
million.
one com-
You need
okay.
7 digits.
Yeah,
Let's make it easy.
It's just one.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yep.
Somebody that's really good at math is
There we
like,
go.
come on, guys, you can do
No,
this.
somebody already figured it out.
Mike
Hell
already
yeah.
right now
He's
responded.
he's like, the hell's wrong?
See? So,
$2,000 a day.
no, closer to 3. It's like $2,800 a day.
3,000 a day.
I ain't saying shit. Fuck a voice note. Fuck these kids. Fuck everybody.
I need 12 grand a day.
I'm a monk.
I need 12 grand a
I took
day.
a vow of silence.
Because if they have an emergency issue and they like, oh, tell us what happened, you over there. You get what I'm saying? Like, I need 4 million to make it worth it. You got a bottom line number?
No, I was gonna say I will say that during COVID, because I was remote the whole time.
Yeah.
I learned how to type pretty fast. So I was thinking, can we carry a computer
Yeah.
or some kind of?
You
Maybe
just can't
then I
make
can
a
do
noise.
it. Yeah, maybe then I can do it if
Can't
I can
stop
type
me-
it out. But that would be a lot of going back and forth because I'm even thinking like translating how that could work.
You gonna look like Pootie Tang too. Have y'all seen the movie Pootie Tang? You don't remember that when he was in the studio singing it, but he was just like, because if you stub your toe,
No sound.
you can't say shit. You just gotta be.
You know what? I don't think I'd last 2 days.
That's what I'm saying. I'm sitting here like, yo, but 4 million though. I think I could
Yeah,
just take my shit shut, man.
I'm a crash out queen. There's no
Absolutely.
way I'm lasting.
Mike already knows. Mike right now would be saying, "No, babe, you can't stay quiet." Let's be honest.
I'd
Let's
want
see.
to. I'd try.
What do you miss? This is my last one. What do you miss about life before the internet?
Not worried about being on the internet.
That
Person.
the receipts is literally what came to my mind.
What do you mean?
Like that, anything you can do, any and everything you do can become a receipt. There can be a visual of your text message. You can be caught on CCC, whatever
Oh.
cam. Someone can video like anywhere, and then they can post it online. At any point in line and moment, you could be embarrassed. You know, you could be picking your wedgie when you get out of the car, like I do every time.
That's true.
Like, and someone could catch me picking my
And
wedgie.
now you're a meme.
And now I'm a meme.
They have normalized that behavior too.
Like, or they're, yeah. So like being able to exist without that fear of Big Brother watching.
Right.
And I know that because that's something with my daughter who's a preteen. I'm on her because they're in that digital age and they're testing. And I'm like, look, the difference between me and you was that when I was in middle school and we were riding our bikes outside and we were walking down the street and we were doing things we weren't supposed to be doing. We were throwing eggs out, just doing stupid shit.
It wasn't recorded.
It wasn't recorded. There wasn't a ring cam that could have caught it across the TV. There wasn't someone Snapchatting behind me that I didn't see.
Right.
I said, anything you do, you're damn near likely to get caught doing it on some kind of camera. I said, not me. I did all kinds of shit. We ain't gonna talk about. We ain't talking about me. We're talking about you. So that's the thing I miss. Just I popped a squat the other day. I told you I'm homeless, peeing in these streets. Sorry, y'all. I'm not.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
I got my baby wipes and my toilet paper, but I did open the 2 doors. It was late at night. Opened the 2 doors, stood in between them. Thought I was being secure. Took a piss. Was situated, squat, piss. I look up. There's a motherfucking someone's security camera. I was like,
"You're welcome."
I'm thinking
you got a free show on your own.
Holy shit!
I was committed. I couldn't cut off full screen.
I'm fully
Piss
committed.
running down the lane. I'm like, oh God.
Yeah, that shit's crazy. She said, "There's a hey, like getting there just." That realization face is crazy.
No, literally. What was I gonna do?
Fuck it.
Yeah.
You got me.
Hey, Bob.
You know what's funny that you said
I'll pick up
that?
my trash.
There's this show on Netflix. It's like about it's a couple and they're teenagers, and it talks about like how they met and everything, and how they go through junior and senior year. Have you seen it? And I was sitting, and then what got me was that young
Forever. I haven't.
Yes.
Let's save that for shows to watch.
Okay, you seen it?
No, but I want to.
Okay,
but
so
she has. She told me it was good.
Yeah, you gotta watch it. What I will say is that what you're talking about in terms of what do you even call that? There's a term for it though. But they were using like her photo or video without her permission, and it was one of the things that kind of held her back in moving forward in life.
Yep.
And I was like, yo, we dealt with that, especially at our school.
Yeah.
But it was more like Snickers, and I talked to you on a one-on-one, right? Where we went to Helix, right?
Yeah.
So anyone that knows about our school's history, there was about 4 or 5 people that got caught up with messing around with teachers and stuff.
That was at my school too.
Yeah, but I think MySpace wasn't something that we would just openly post those things on there. Like, it was still private conversations. Now people just put your shit out there and then just have it.
Everybody knows.
Yeah, I couldn't necessarily. I thought about it, I was like, damn, this era is way tougher to grow up in. I'm really working on self-esteem with my kids.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Because you can't tear them down if they really know who they are and have that high self-esteem.
Absolutely. So
I think also the other thing that I liked before the internet was you're managing, and again, working with young people. I took a training years ago when I worked at Helix, not attended. And it brought this to my attention, and it's always in my mind now. But I miss not having to manage my online life. Before the internet, you had one persona, right? You're just one person, and you're in the real world, and the people you're talking to, the relationships you're managing, the networking, the business, whatever, is in this world, in this physical space.
Right.
Ever since the internet, now we have the, not the actual
reality
metaverse.
Versus
we have this whole
real
exactly. We have this whole. That's a great way to say it. We have this whole other virtual reality community and life. If you're on the grid, participating in the social medias, whether that's LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever your cup of tea is, now you're managing. It goes back to like we were just saying with the DMs. Those, you have to manage all those DMs, not just regular emails, but actual relationships. You build friendships. There's a certain level of expecting you to show up.
Right.
And so and they were saying in regards to young people, this is something that previous generations have never had to deal with. They've never had to manage their 2 personas, and that it is extremely damaging and overwhelming and sometimes very exhausting trying to balance the two worlds that you're living in at the same time, especially when as a young person, you know, the adults in your life may not even know what's going on in this other world. But so even as an adult, like, you know, I kind of miss that. Like, you know, when I just see you and that's when we talk and catch up. Or, you know, I miss the lack of responsibility, I guess, and expectation. But also, you know, there's such a level of community that comes with it. So, but then you just have to manage that community. So, yeah, I guess I miss the, you know, just in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, a little bit of everything what she said. I think one of the things that I was frustrated about at Ludacris is there was a woman in front of me that was recording every single second and would go on live every single second. And I'm just like, Lord, lady, like, put your phone down, enjoy. And the worst part about it is, like, if you want to record facing that way. But I'm in back of her, and she's, like, singing and the selfie the whole time. And I'm in back trying to, like, have a great time. I don't want to be on someone's meme later on or a screenshot later on of, like, look at her looking funny in the background or whatever. So I think that's, like, the hardest thing. Because I do toy with that idea of, like I was saying, starting a TikTok to share my journey on my financial journey and so forth, and recognizing that with that becomes you're putting yourself out there for criticisms, for people talking about you however they want, and having, you know, their own preconceived thoughts of what you're putting out there or whatever. So it's scary, you know. It
is, but there is a line between, like, you know, vlogging and being present. And, you know, some people, they're so excited they want to be on there the whole time. There's no mindfulness, right? So, like, you guys know, Thank you.
No, you're good.
You know, I vlog a lot in the community. You saw me do it today. You know, and sometimes I'm sure people are watching me. I've caught people watching me. I've included them, and I've had to learn, you know, just to not mind them. Like, but I also try to be mindful, you know, and find that balance of being present. I think that, like, when I'm out, I do try to be present. I'm talking to people. I'm interacting with my kids. I'm having conversations. And then, but again, like I said, I'm balancing that other world, because I still want to share with my online community what I'm doing, the resources.
But I think what you're doing is totally different than if you're out having fun and you're just enjoying yourself and someone's, like, right next to you recording you every single move, and you're just, like, having to be in their you know, in their view of things. I'm like, at one point, just, like, chill, put the phone down and enjoy, or, you know, record that way. Like, be wary of the people in the surroundings.
Exactly, because not everybody wants to be. I try to be very cognitive of that, of, like, filming and people being in my film. Even, like, my family and friends, like, I'll say, like, oh, I'm filming, do you want to be on, you know? Or, like, earlier we were like, you're on live? I'm like, no, I'll tell you if we're on live. Because not everybody wants to be in the video or the photo, like you said. So, yeah, it's tricky, right? It's a tricky balance of trying to figure out how we exist in this internet age, but still exist in the real world and not be baboons and assholes.
My only problem with what you saying is not by what you're saying, but, like, what happened is, like, I'd sit there in a question. I used to tell my wife, I'm like, look, man, I know you want to take videos and stuff. That's cool. I ain't got no beef against that, but I ain't posting nothing right now. I used to
wait later.
People. Yeah, I used to do that. Like, oh, let me put it on the story and, like, do all this. And I was like, yo, like, but I didn't come from that, right? So, like, after a while, I was like, yo, am I just doing this because I want people to see that I'm doing something? Versus, like, am I enjoying the moment? I'd rather remember the feeling of being somewhere. Like, when somebody brings up some old shit, like, the nostalgia feeling that hits you with the goosebumps on your skin, it's like,
that brings it back to that moment.
No fucking camera reel's gonna do that for me, right? Like, I look at old photos and shit, but when you look at an old photo, it takes you to other extended memories you have about that time period. Like, if you looked at a photo of Jaylee when she was 6 months old, right? That photo will remind you of, what was it? Yeah, exactly. That's the part. So it's like, yo, while you're sitting here recording every single minute, you're taking away from that type of nostalgia. You get what I'm saying? Like, one clip will just do it.
And for me, that you recording and me being right in back of you with like me seeing going hard on like throw them bowls, and all of a sudden like I'm like, and I'm seeing myself do it on your camera. You're taking for my moment of being able to really enjoy it. I feel like, so if you're doing it the whole time, I understand 1 or 2 songs or what have you, but the whole time, at one point, just enjoy the show too. Right. Like you were saying, like be present in the moment. Yeah,
you're not letting that magic happen. I find myself when I'm the places I'm having the most fun, I take the least amount of pictures and videos. I'll go to full events and won't even post about them. People be like, I didn't know you were there yet. And I'm like, oh, because I was so present. Even I've noticed, like, with my closest friends, I take the least pictures with them. I've been trying to get better about it ever since I went and did the Barbershop Confidential podcast. Jonah got me on ice. He ain't releasing my episode.
He said he's not gonna do it?
No. He said
he's waiting for Leslie. He doesn't want him to put so consecutive of without Leslie, because now that he has a co-host.
Basically, he said my new co-host come first.
No, and as she could, and I told him the other day.
Now fuck that. And I was playing.
But first of all,
I enjoy Leslie.
Side note to Jonah. I really wanted to pod with Leslie and him because she is so funny. But it didn't work out on the schedule when me and him did it. And I still love the conversation that me and Jonah had. And my point being, now, ever since me and Jonah had that conversation about him losing his best friend and, you know, him realizing they didn't have a lot of pictures together. And I realized that I literally have the least amount of pictures with my closest friends. And that I was like... It's because we're so present in the moment that we're not making a point. But I was like, I want to make a point.
That.
But back to Jonah. Yes, Jonah said he was going to release our episode, but he has episodes recorded where it's still him individually versus with his host. So he's trying to release some of the ones where he's individual, like in between things.
Space it.
But I hit him up and I was like, look, if you want to scrap the one, scrap it. I need to get on with you and Leslie before I leave San Diego. Right. I said, make it happen.
But he doesn't want to scrap it though, huh?
I don't know. I don't know if he said he liked the episode, so maybe he will, maybe he won't. I don't know what the direction, but
it'd probably be better with both of y'all.
She's
anyway.
So fun. So he told me that they're booked until July.
Wow.
But
it's a good problem to have.
Yeah, that's what I said. And they have a new recording schedule. I'm not gonna put their business out there. Yeah. So I told him, I said, look,
he had one
I got
before.
the first. Exactly.
It would just come out on Tuesday, right?
Yeah. Once you get the 2, it's like, nah, hold on. Let me just make sure you about to be here, my man.
So he's supposed to get back to me and let me know if I can get in there and go with both of them.
That'd be dope.
Which I'm with the pussy power. Okay, it's the ladies.
Yeah,
I'm bringing the ladies. I'm trying to do 2 against 1.
I love this for him though. You know what I mean? Like I like that fact because she does bring in a type of got him out here doing all kind of wild shit.
They are so fun. They are so fun.
I was like, you know what? I ain't walking around with no mic all day.
Man,
Shut up.
I was like, look, dude, too bad I'm leaving. I would have made you start doing all that shit with me. They inspired me.
Going to the gym together, going to the boxing ring together.
Making all kinds of TikToks.
I was gonna say they have a lot of time.
My wife ain't going for that shit. My wife like, yo, we got baseball practice. Right. Tell Jay. You see her Sunday. No, tell her see you Sunday.
If you want to see each other during the week, you're going to the baseball game.
Not the extracurriculars, but we could have done a few little TikToks.
And I'm not saying that to shit on Jonah. I'm glad you said that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I ain't getting that shit off, right? And I'm sure because his wife is in support of him. I've seen her like the videos and stuff like that and like support him and stuff. So it's like I get it. And he had told me something also that I won't share on here. But I understand what he's doing. It actually makes sense.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. I mean, we're all business entrepreneurs. Like, it's all fun and games, but also there's a strategicness, you know? And
he doing more than what I'm doing.
And I'm
just putting out content. I swear to God.
Yeah, and he's, I mean, they're definitely making waves, making moves, and I encourage them to keep going because they got some special sauce over there.
I'm just glad he got over his bullshit. Cause I'm like, Jonah, you need a co-host. I mean, you have 180 people in here, bro.
At one point, I got introduced to him from you guys, first of all, and I started loving, like, he's just funny and he's relatable as I'm Mexicano, and so I was just kind of like, oh, I love it. And I was like, you need a co-host. And he's like, no, I'm not with that. I guess he had pretty bad experiences.
Yeah, he had a hard time.
And then when Leslie came, I was like, dang, okay. She came and she brought it. So yes, you brought the sazon, girl.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
It's part of
Not
the
that he didn't have it by himself,
part of the gig though too. If you don't have co-hosts, quit. have problems or whatever, then can you really say you had a podcast? There's not a show on this earth where I feel like we didn't hear some tea about what happened on a like real professional level.
My favorite, Simone B. She had one of the
Simone Biles.
No, you don't know who Simone B is? She's a comedian. She was on Wild and Out. B. Simone. Thank you. Okay. I'm getting mad at you.
What? That shit really... I'm mad at you because you flipped it.
Whoa, no, then you flipped it. Because I was about to school him and then he schooled me back.
Yeah, when you said Simone B, I was like, well, shit, that only
Biles?
one. Anyway.
What are you talking about? Anyways, B. Simone. That's one of my favorite podcasts. And her best friend had a podcast. They started with one. And it was one of the top paying, and then they had a whole falling out. And
wait, that was her on the show right now, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, I recognize the girl. Yes. So funny. Okay, no wonder I was like, wait,
but the
she
show
looks familiar. Okay.
We're watching ridiculousness. My fault.
You're right. It is.
Yeah, it's a rite of passage. Like, like if you don't have no bullshit happening, it's like, yo, were you really in pod? Like,
were you really in pod?
Yeah, you gotta have some shit going on, and then come back and be like, hey man, I was wilding. Yeah. Like, and it's a small group out here. You know what I mean? So it's like when one of us, he hit me up. He's like, yo, you doing like a whole like, yeah, man, give me my fucking flowers. I'm not gonna just up and quit like everybody else do. I'm gonna tell y'all I'm quitting ahead of time.
While we're speaking real quick, I want to say this because I almost messaged, but then I was like, I didn't want to make it seem like I was really salty, but I was a little salty. I saw that Barbershop Confidential podcast and then YWO's Con YWO's. Oh my gosh, don't kill me. It's another popular podcast here in San Diego.
You about to start some shit?
Well,
all right. I'm gonna clear the space.
I'm
JAY.
No. They got together and they did, and so I know Jonah from Barbershop Confidential podcast. I would consider us homies at this point.
Right.
At least working homies.
Yes.
And then my girl Sylvia, that's my girl.
From Con YWO.
Yes, I'm saying it wrong. I'll look it up in a little bit so we can get it. And they did a little meetup together, and they they filmed content together, and I was upset that we weren't invited. Jonah didn't reach out to you?
Nah, but you probably know. I'll probably say no.
I don't care because they know I'd say yes.
Yeah.
But I was like, why weren't we're not? And then I was like, is it because like the whole like Latino? I was like, what?
It might be.
I'm half Latina.
But I tell Jonah though, like because there's some episodes I'm like, Jonah, I can't get through this. Like whoever your guest is today, I got my Spanish.
Too much Spanish in there.
I can't get you. And he be like,
Vive con huevos.
Viva con huevos.
I told you. See,
and
the leche was only thing
on
the was leche milk.
Dale gas vlogs.
Yes. Okay. I love their podcast
He wouldn't invite me to that shit.
And yeah. So, anyways, that was my little.
They'd be going between Spanglish all day.
We're not cool enough.
I'd be in there looking like the dude. Okay.
Why didn't we get invited? I want to know.
Oh my!
I just want to go back real quick to what you were saying in regards to social media or just internet.
Yeah.
I think going what you were saying about teens, cyberbullying being something really big, and so that's what it hurts that kids nowadays have to worry about and I'm so glad that you're teaching, your children about building their confidence and having them believe in themselves because I think then they can't feel that bullying. Like, I know Mike always like, why would someone that's on the internet that they're getting? I'm like, but you don't understand how people can internalize the words that someone says. Like, and if they don't believe it for themselves, if they don't know how amazing they are, they're not told externally by their parents, and that's what they're going to internalize the words that other people are telling them. So I think the cyberbullying is what I worry about because with my teens I hear that all the time, like, this person is talking about me. I'm like, and like, is it true? Then why do you worry about it? But inside they really care about what other people think.
Absolutely.
You may not like my way of combating that, but there's only one way I know. And I feel like the society that we live in right now is like, it's like you have to prep them for it because in some aspects, we have grown really passive and soft.
I knew you were going to. I literally was waiting for you to say soft.
And the only reason why I say that, right, because I say that with a grain of salt. Because, like, for example, the baseball kids was getting whooped. I told y'all about that story or whatever. And then the very next week, because, like, they was all hurt and shit, I was like, yo, talk shit about each other today. Like, he was like, oh, you trash, you can't catch or whatever. And like literally when we played in games where kids were talking shit, they got used to it.
You're talking about exposure therapy. So
if you want to put a clinical term on it, cool. But I'm just telling you, because even yesterday, Like, whatever they do and somebody talk shit about them, they be motivated.
Yeah.
And I tell them, like, yo, when practice is over with, no more shit talking. We only do that during practice, not during a game or whatever. Here's the time to do it so that we get better. Use it as motivation. Not so much as a put down and watch what you say.
Yeah.
And then bring each other up after. But you got to get used to, just like the...
You're not going to always be number one. You're not going to always be the best.
Right.
Well, and people are going to talk shit.
Yeah.
No matter what.
I think that, like, you know, when I first hear that, it does, I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that. You know, I'm like, is that the best? But as you're speaking and as I'm thinking about it, and especially if I'm thinking, especially in the lens of coaching, like, young men, boys, you know, I think that, like, not all children, even boys, even athletes, are gonna find motivation from having shit talk to them. For some of those kids, it's gonna hurt, it's gonna sting. Yeah, it might provoke emotion out of them, like anger. And so then they're like, I don't want to be called slow anymore. You know, and so it might evoke emotion, which will evoke like some kind of behavior change. What the like long-term effects of that mentally, I don't know. But what I will say, is there is something to be said about giving young men, young girls a space to get their shit off and to have a space to be like, all right, out here on the field, like, we let it loose. But we're not saying things with the spirit of hurting each other. We're saying things with the spirit of keeping it real, keeping it raw, keeping it 100, and wanting to get better. So, yeah, we're going to talk a little shit out here, but make sure, you know, you're not hitting below the belt. And having that hour where you're practicing and you're like, fucking damn, you slow fuck, go faster. Like,
right.
You know, a 9-year-old, a 10-year-old, 13, they might need that shit to get out there and be able to really speak freely and get it out and motivate each other. So I think, like, with the right parameters, with the right instruction and the right intention, which it sounds like you said, like, you know, when we're done here, like, that could definitely be like beneficial. I think where where we have to just like err on the side of caution is not one size fits all, right? Especially when it comes to coaching, teaching, mentoring. So one approach for one student or even half the team might work really well, but we need to be mindful of those kids that might slip through the cracks where, like, maybe that approach isn't going to work, you know. But you're right, kids are... there is a level, because we are trying to raise generations being more mindful, more thoughtful, more considerate with their words, understanding, like we said, words have weight, words have power. We do internalize them. They do then change our psyche, then change our behavior, then change the way we think about ourselves. And I think it's a beautiful thing that we're in this place where we are being more mindful of the way we speak to each other. However, there is nothing soft about me or my kids, because there is a balance of, hey, we're going to have these conversations, and hey, we don't judge people by the color of their skin. We don't talk about people's bodies. You know, we don't care if people are gay. We don't care if someone has a disability. Like, and we choose special language to make sure that we are being respectful.
How do you prep them for somebody who thinks that their way of thinking is trash?
Versus,
I don't agree with that. I'm just saying,
versus
like,
like someone who's an asshole, you know?
Right? Yeah.
So,
how do you deal with assholes then?
You know,
that's my question.
Luckily for my daughter, she has a front row ticket to someone who's who loves to see a fucking asshole coming. In fact, she might have seen a little bit too much of how to deal with an asshole from me.
Shit.
She need to learn.
Ticket is crazy.
She need to learn how to deal with an asshole a little bit more appropriately. But we have those conversations, and even when I do react in a situation in which I'm not proud of, like you guys, we again not exactly nonchalant, crash out queen trying to retire. So even when I have those moments or those interactions, or I come from, I'm like, damn, Jaylee, I was just at the store and this happened. I'm coaching her through those teaching moments. I ran into this guy. He said I cut him off and he flipped me off. You know, like, my first reaction was to cuss him the fuck out. But then I stopped, because then I remembered, like, you never know what they could, you know.
Yeah,
so
it's just
it's just a lot of conversations, a lot of lead by example, a lot of, you know, like anything, coaching them. So there is, you know, like, and when kids, you know, talk shit, it's like, fuck them. You know, I'm not, when Jaylee tells me someone's talking shit to her, I'm like, you know what? I'm sorry that you're her. I validate her feelings first. I always validate her feelings. And then who the fuck are they? You fuck them. Like, right. you know, when you got on here and you were like, and you called us weird and we didn't like that, you're fucking weird. Like, that's the same attitude I have with Jaylee, and that's not making her soft. Do you see what I mean? So I'm teaching her language and skills and tools to be respectful of different communities. But then on the other end, I'm teaching her how to navigate conversations with difficult people, how to be aware of how you respond and what different scenarios can come out of your response, and how to stand up for yourself. Some of the ways I teach my daughter to have her voice is she orders for herself. I've been having her order for herself since she could talk. But
what you're saying, though, that what I'm saying doesn't apply to you based off of how you're explaining it.
But what I'm saying is, like, you can still teach your kid to be kind,
people
but
I'm
not
talking
soft.
about not teaching their kids shit. For real. Like, fam, if you're, like, this lady was on Instagram and she said it best, right? And I'm sorry to cut you off, but I didn't want you to think that because I don't want you to think it's you.
No.
If you tying your kids' shoes before sporting events, but then you go back into the stands and their shoe comes untied again, how the fuck you think they're going to tie it up again?
You have to teach
I've ran
them.
into 10-year-olds that can't tie their shoes that have no learning disabilities.
So what you're saying is, okay, then
enabling is one thing.
Yeah, and it's lack of skill. So I think we need to be, again, careful of language because, and I know it's a culture thing, but we keep saying like, oh,
if you want to clean it up, yes, that's fine.
Because words matter. We keep saying like, oh, this generation is soft. This generation is soft.
This generation of parents is soft too.
It makes it sound like we're saying these generations of kids are pussies and they're, they're crybabies or blah, blah, blah.
No, it's
what we're
entitlement,
trying to say is it sounds like this generation has a lack of skills. Like whether that's communication.
No, entitlement. Big case entitlement.
A double dose of entitlement paired with a lack of skills, which then comes, like you said, from their parents.
Shitty ass parents.
So lack of skills, whether that's like tying your shoe, practical skills, lack of emotional skills, lack of social skills, like how to deal with different people, lack of communication skills. Like, so to me, that's not a soft. When I think of like a little crybaby ass kid, that I think of soft. When I think about these kids who are fucking little like spoiled brats and I went to my homegirl's house, her kid don't do no chores. I'm like, that's crazy to me. But
how does that kid react when you tell them to do chores?
When I tell her when she comes to my house, she do chores no problem.
No, but I want to know when the mom is doing it, or
and she gives her grief, gives her the hardest time.
That's when I would start saying that's soft body right there.
Or she won't do it.
Yeah, see, or throw a fit. Go ahead.
Going back, like just like you were saying, I think it's more so the parents' responsibility to teach them. It starts at home at the end, and that's unfortunate that it's not being done there. Like the reason why I've been with the mentoring program, I think I said I've been there 13 years, but it's been 15 years actually. And I've been trying to pull away. So if you're in San Diego in the Southeast area, hit me up. There's a mentoring program that greatly needs it. But it started out of a Pharaoh, and it was to be able to there was a high level of people going, parents that were incarcerated. And so there was a higher level of kids going to the juvie system. And so they started this program to be able to catch them and hopefully not go into the system.
Break the
cycle. And so now it's for just kids that are separated from the parents, whether it's through immigration, deportation, or just foster, like they're in foster home, divorce, what have you. And I go in there because they're being raised by a lot of the extended families. They have the aunties, grandmas, and they're not having these conversations with them. Like, I remember when I was a kid, how important it was to have, like, I wish they had conversations about music and what it meant back then. And now they listen to a song and they think it's funny, and it's like, okay, but do you know what it really means? And they want to, and unfortunately they're sexualized a lot sooner than I was when I was growing up. And so these conversations, like I said, are not being held at home. And it's unfortunate because then that's when you question, like, why are they getting in trouble? Why is this happening? Or why do they have this attitude? Because they weren't taught to grow up, and they weren't taught from they were young when they were younger. And of course, being able to learn from your time is what's important. So. Yeah,
absolutely.
I didn't think we was gonna delve that deep, but we got there.
Sorry, that was a long one. That was a sidetrack.
I'm not mad at all.
We went all over there.
Yeah, hand clap. Like Lex said, I lost the screen for a second. It's all good. We'll get it going.
Now you understand, huh?
Well, nah, yeah.
My little glitchies.
Nah, it's all good. I'm the one that gave it to him, so I should know already. Read him a week. I previously earned more than my partner. Damn, you wrote this.
Mike said that in.
I previously earned more than my partner and paid all the bills. And he came to live in my house that I paid off. Shit, I forgot that I did this. We were doing so well until I put this in here. I had a daughter from a previous relationship, and we had 2 together. I helped him get out of debt, paid everything, including expensive holidays, and I helped him set up his business, and is now going well, whereas mine has slowed down with child caring and other reasons. He helped renovate our home physically whilst he was out of work. I only asked asked for half of the bills, but feel he could pay a bigger share. Now, as I did before, particularly with food, as he eats a lot. He feels this is unfair and also doesn't want to take part in the home improvements anymore since the property's in my name. Am I in the wrong? I have my own reservations about this.
I'm gonna let you guys go on this one.
There we go. Look, we was doing so good together. We got a break though. You know what I mean? Maybe
we can't always
maybe.
Get
Yeah.
We can't always get along.
This is where Zoe be fucking up. He gotta know when the one's gonna be a hot button, and just go ahead and say we might be on the opposite side. But then if we agree, we're like, oh,
and then it's a pleasant surprise.
I didn't know you was gonna be here.
Yeah, exactly.
I think she's wilding, and the reason why I think she's wilding is because she's keeping score. Right? If this is someone who you want to be with long term, right, and you have kids with this person and you're not trying to separate, we should not be itemizing things. The reason why I say that is because for a while I was living proof of that. My wife now has become my financial equal, right? And even still, right, we have these disagreements about like what her portion is because she does pay the mortgage in our house. I'm like, look, we have other little bills that add up that you don't know. Even like the medical stuff, like because she's, owns her own business or whatever, it makes sense to get it through an employer through mine.
Exactly.
So I pay that bill, right? I pay some other bills, right? So the disproportionality may be 60-40.
Yeah.
But 40 is not bad.
At all.
You still damn near close to half of all the shit that we
Exactly.
doing. So in this situation, I don't hold it over her head. Right? And if there was a time where if I ran out of cash or whatever, and I'm like, look, man, I'm low right now because of XYZ, my wife would pick me up. But if my intent is for us to be together and she's going to bury me or vice versa, then why does that shit matter anyway? You get what I'm saying? So, and then also, if I got off at that point, because I'm married, they probably not. The other thing is that if he did house renovations,
that costs money.
That costs a lot of money.
It sounds like she paid for it and he just did the labor.
The labor be hitting though.
He wasn't working. He was living in the house for free.
I'm gonna let you get your shit off in a second. I got you in a second.
He was eating he was free.
Was that their kid or is it a kid from a previous?
They have 2 together and one by herself,
okay.
right? And so, look, if he put up a wall, the wall probably be about $2-3 grand. You know what I mean? But like again,
that she paid for, he ain't got no money.
And if he was going, but he was paying half the bills. But I'll let you get your shit off. I think that she's just wrong for itemizing those things. And also, why should I pay more share of this if you own the place? Yeah, because I remember I got you an essay question 2 weeks ago.
What it is for me?
Let's hear it.
Yeah, is that so? My understanding is that there was a change.
No,
there was a change in the. In her finances.
In her finances.
And now he's the one in the position on the up and up. So I'm with you. I don't like tick for tack. I don't think we should keep score in a relationship, especially when it's going to all, if it's being done right, it's going to all average out.
Correct.
Every household manages differently. Some do that how you were saying you and your wife do, itemizing things. Some split down the middle, some 40-50, whatever. I had a friend who was married to I'll just say city worker, and they were married early in their marriage, and at first they were splitting everything. They had been together, I don't want to give too many details. They'd been together a while, but once they got married and they moved into their careers from their jobs through college,
right.
And they had always done half. But then once he started his big boy career, and she did too, but he was making a good portion more than her. She was just like, it doesn't feel like it's fair because even though we're splitting half, his half is bigger. His whole is bigger than my whole. So, like, yeah, how is it supposed to be equal if his, it's not equal to begin with? And, and it gets tricky because it's like, well, the bills are half is half. But it's like, again, if we're in this marriage and you're making more, but we're both contributing to other parts of this house, why would you want me to struggle? When you're making more and I'm your wife, and so that the half I'm pulling from my side is less than the half you're pulling from your side, why are you comfortable with that? And I think, so for me, going back to this, to me, it's not tit and tat. What I hear is this bitch held him down when he didn't have shit. He didn't have no house. He came and moved into her house. Where was he living before? He didn't care that his name wasn't on the house when he was living there rent-free for however long. She had the one daughter. Okay, that makes sense. But they had two more. Yeah. So this to me, it's a serious relationship. They might not be married, but they obviously have children together, 3 children together.
I need to know what the renovations are.
And for me, that doesn't even matter because in my mind, based off of this, she was paying for all of the renovations. And yes, he was doing the labor. Labor is not free, but she said he was not working.
But he added value to a house that he doesn't have his name on, which I understand.
But he was also... So what is his value then? He should have the right to just lay up in that house for free. He's not working.
Let's say he put a room in here like this side. This room right here by itself would be $90,000 to put together as an extension.
Why do you think he paid for that when he didn't have any money? She just said that she had the good job and she was paying for everything.
She probably paid for the materials, but the materials wouldn't call. You're paying for when you pay for the.
Yeah, I understand
the labor.
I understand the labor, but what I'm saying is this nigga's laid up in the house for fucking free, not doing shit anyways.
So we're gonna play house on my dime. You're saying
he should be doing something. That's how you're contributing. Yeah. I'm contributing. Oh, I'm gassed. I'm contributing because I'm going to work every single day. I'm successful. And that's okay. I'm allowing you to stay at home. You're building a fucking business, which congratulations, it's doing successful now. We're not keeping score, but you are welcome, nigga, because I held you down while you were building.
What if we're even?
And I let you. What do you mean we're even?
Because that time period is that time period because she's comparing what happened
before and after.
But we're not even because where she said
when I was born, when I didn't have shit.
Nah, you was in that fucking house, not doing nothing else, nigga. If you don't want to build that house, go get a job. All right, you don't want to do free labor? You consider that free labor because your name isn't on the house, but we got 3 kids. I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, we're building a household. Who gives a fuck if your name is on this house or not? At the end of the day, we're a family. 2 of your kids live in this house.
Oh, you know
what?
If
you don't even want to count about the 3rd kid. Okay. And again, you weren't doing shit. The least you can do is contribute to the house we both live on and raise our kids in.
The only reason why I agree with you right now is because she is now going through the same hard time that he was going
through. And that's my point.
That's the only reason why I agree with you.
And that's why it's not tit and tat.
But if she wasn't.
Yeah.
But then we wouldn't be having a whole different situation. But she is. And that's why it's fucked up. And a lot of times, and this is why I'm hot, because a lot of times you will hear about this. You will hear about women or men, but a lot of times it's women. Or maybe sometimes it's men, because I've actually heard. You will hear about one partner. Let's take this not sex.
Build them up.
And they will sacrifice, right? And they're off better financially, they're in a better position, or they'll sacrifice by staying home with the kids, or they'll take the lesser position so that way the person going to med school, the person becoming a lawyer, the person building a business from the ground up. You know what I mean? Okay, you're building this business. I'm working at Jack in the Box 7 days a week so I can pay our bills so you can focus on this. There's always one person in the beginning who is willing to take on the load so that way we can both get there. And the idea is that once you get there, then you're going to pull me back up. Or now I get to rest because I've been holding everything. She's been carrying this financial load. She helped get him in a position. Yeah, he did labor on the house. Good job, Dad. You mean you fixed the fucking house your kids are in? Yeah, good job. Great. I think you should. But now you're in the position where you're doing better financially, where now all of the hard work is paying off. And now I'm in a position where my business is slowing down because I'm having to dedicate more time to our children,
right?
Which we know That is why there is a glass ceiling. That is why there is a discrepancy still in this day and age with women being paid less than men for the exact same positions. And that's not just magic. That's a fact. Look it up. And that's because women are not able to climb the same career ladder as quickly as men because of things like children, having to be the primary caretaker. I have to take off every single time there's a doctor's appointment, every single time there's a field trip, whatever. So there's already that discrepancy. Anyways, back to my original point. Now
you put my name on that house.
Now she's on it.
You put my name on the house.
Give me some motherfucking money.
I did.
Give me you gave me time.
I let you get that off, and I agree with you.
You live in this
house. But we
going
50-50 on that house together.
Then give me half the down payment I can.
No.
Because your labor of doing your project
puts equity into
nothing.
the home. Hey, I tried to get that off with Storm 6 years ago when I bought our house, and the bill's name went right on that house. I remember I tried to put.
You know what? We separate, tear down every renovation you got up in here.
It don't work like that.
I'm only buying you out for
Jess,
that.
real quick. Real quick.
Jess, you on one? What do you mean?
We got a mediator. We got a mediator right now, Jess.
Like, at first, I was like, this tick for tick for that she had going on. I was like, that's not cool. Because in the end, I want to ask, like, what is their relationship really about? Are they looking at long term? Because it shouldn't be, no, I did this. But I do feel like, okay, I've been helping you this whole time.
But she's only saying that because he asked her. She only even went there because when shit is getting hard for her,
he then came back and was like, yo, no, it's not my place.
Exactly.
She's not fucking with this one. She's like, yo.
Because she would have never even said that if when she was at, babe, I'm hurting right now. Can you step up?
But that's what I'm saying is, like,
And he said no.
I think that's fucked up on his part, because in the end, regardless of it being him being on the mortgage or not, like, in the end, his kids, like you said, live in the home, like. Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, but I feel like
I'm about to get up and walk out.
Go ahead, let her finish.
I just feel like they have some other issues to deal with, because in the end, and that's where it goes back to the partnership that I talk about. Like, I know Mike asks me all the time, babe, how can I help you? Like, how can I help you reach your goals? And, you know, I have to be honest, like, this is what I'm working on, whether it's healthy eating or it's, you know, being more active, whatever, but it doesn't seem like they're on the same page long term wise, because for him to snap back and be like, nah, I'm not on the mortgage, that's kind of rude to me. That's
how convenient. All of a sudden.
Yeah.
Would y'all want to be on a mortgage?
The intentionality.
If it was a house that I was
let's just say you
in,
built this room and then the same situation and you did too or something, or you had the skills. So
I wouldn't be as someone who has a lot of skills and contributes a lot of skills to other people's things that they own. Like, I contribute a lot of my skills to other people's things that they have ownership over, whether that's their business, their houses, their art, their property, whatever, you know. And no, I promise you, if I moved in to another man's house, and, you know, we became a family, but he already had that house. He bought it. He was successful. And even if,
you bought couches, you did all
sounds like me. I'm going to go in there. I love a project. I'm a DIY. I'm going to make it a home, as most women do. I'm definitely going to put my touch on it. I might put a whole new black splash on every damn bathroom wall.
Personalize it,
but
too.
I would never consider that my home, and I would never, even if we had the kids, ask to be on that mortgage unless I knew I was going to be coming actual financially. Like, okay, you know, let me give you half of what you paid in when you first got into the house. Now I feel I deserve to be added to this mortgage. But just because I contribute to a foundation that was already clearly established, I don't believe that gives me ownership, especially when we're living in the home as a family, and whatever I'm doing to make our house more enjoyable, improve it, is for our family, our kids. Family. It'd be different if, like, you know, you built me, we had no kids, and you built me a brand new makeup studio and an art studio. I can't let you
get that off with that much power. I'm sorry. I don't know what it is about me, but
I don't know why.
We would have to sell that house and go buy a new one together.
That's what I was thinking. That's why I'm like, in my head,
that's the only thing.
You don't want
so entitled
or not sell it, but okay, we're gonna buy something else together, and we could rent this space or whatever. If we're able, do something where we can.
What if that's my ambition that owns something though?
Yeah.
Then you should have been working instead of living in my house for free.
Let me tell you something else. Your daughter,
and buying something.
Your kid is not my kid.
Oh,
You
I
get
will.
what-
Say, I will say that.
That's a big
sometimes
deal
when-
because when adults
got
get
two.
older, have you not heard the stories of somebody saying like, "Oh, I kicked my little brother out the house or whatever because he ain't shit," or "I don't believe he needs to stay there." Like, I want to make sure my kids are protected and having something. And the one thing that me and Adele have talked about with our kids specifically, we have two places. We have this place and the place down the hill. So if we dead and gone, they can play rock, paper, scissors on who gets what.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I don't care that he's not biologically my son because at this point
He's
we
just-
have two places. You get what I'm
Exactly,
saying?
yeah.
So for that reason, that's where I was like, you know what? We gotta do something because you don't know how these little assholes gonna grow up when
Yeah.
they get older.
That is, there's
Money
something
becomes
to be
a-
saying
yeah,
about
money
that.
is like the
but
root of
not
all
with
evil
the
when
way
it
that
comes to-
he's doing
That
things.
part I feel you.
He
I feel
didn't
you.
buy it. He wasn't like, to me, it's like if you
We only
are
have that
so
info.
concerned about making sure that your children have a legacy, or like, I would have been immediately, instead of staying at home doing renovations or building my business, if it was that important, I would have been hustling and being like, hey, what do I need to do to contribute to getting onto this house? Instead, he took the luxury of living in a home that was already bought for, paid for, and that the wife was already doing, or the baby mama, and he decided to use that time to, yes, add renovations to their house and to create and build his own, which now sounds successful, business. He chose his priority. His priority was to build a business. His priority could have been to make enough money to buy his own home, and now he's got his own mortgage, and he don't even have to worry about that.
I don't think
to
that's fair.
present that opportunity to her. Hey, you know what?
They're in a relationship.
Instead of renovating, I don't feel comfortable. How about, we go in on our house together? We're in a relationship, yes. But buying a home is a major feet.
Yeah, but part of that
especially as a
relationship-
woman, what if this nigga gets up and leaves you with nothing?
You're talking about sacrifice, though, right? And I agree with you. Though his stance right now, if it was me, I would say, all right, it is my turn to shoulder the load. Instead of saying I ain't doing shit because I ain't on the
Right.
mortgage, I would have
There's a
offered like,
difference.
yo,
Yeah.
let's go. And if you tell me you can't do that, then we got to have a deeper conversation of where we're going to go next.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. And
That's fair, I feel
I would have
like.
been like, you ain't on the mortgage. Oh, but guess you don't need to live here anymore. Get the fuck
That's a
outta
very
here.
extreme thing. She won't do that because she's in a financial
fuck
red as it
outta
is,
here.
and they got 3 kids.
But I feel like the situations you guys always read, is always hard to remain objective, because it's like you want to remain objective to the facts that you have, and in the end, there's always like, but what about, like, I want to really know, did he pay for if he paid for renovations?
Usually that'd be on there.
They would be nice, because renovations are hella expensive. But
Yes.
if it's not,
Jay
then
said she don't
obviously,
give a fuck.
Yeah.
I
But
bought food.
He didn't
and
have
I
no, he
took-
didn't pay for it. He had no job. How he paid for it?
I don't
But
like
maybe in
knowing
the time that he
info.
was building his business, little monkey, that money that came in,
He
like,
wasn't. Let's be real.
But I will say, like, I have a best friend in the Bay Area, and I remember when her and her husband now they met. He was living in a place, and he had built a ATD in the back of his parents' home, because he had told her, like, I met you at a time when I was ready to buy a home, but now I really want to be able to build this right now while we're not married, because I want to eventually have the first home be ours. So right now this ATD is just like a place until once we get married, we can build together and have what you want in the home to look like. And I appreciated that, because I thought
Did they buy a home eventually? Because
Yeah.
Bay Area is expensive.
Yeah, they bought a home in Pinot.
Okay.
And both of them together decided how they wanted it to look and what they wanted out of it, and how they wanted to grow their family. But that's why, to me, I always think about it, intentionality of what they're looking at their relationship to look towards in the long run, because it can't be the tit for tat, and it can't be, well, I'm doing this, or this, my name's not on the deed or mortgage or whatever.
I think anytime you're comfortable with your partner being in a position of struggle is alarming. Mm-hmm. So it's like, if I'm in this position,
If I come to you
and you're not, and you're my partner, that is
Red flag
that's
to
a
me.
big red flag, because I know that my loved ones, if I got it, they're not struggling, but especially my partner, even the kids' dad, like, even with us both going through everything we're going through, I'll still hit him up. I'll have X amount of dollars to my name, and I'll be like, call him and be like, do you need $20? And vice versa. He'll give me his last if I call him, He's mad at me right now, so maybe not right now. But, and so it's like, you can't be comfortable with your partner, especially
the mother of your children,
yeah,
father of your children,
struggling.
Yeah.
And if we're to get like, that's just, yeah, that's weird. That's weird.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I just think, yeah, let me make sure I'm clear. The way you was getting off, it make it seem like I'm like, oh, fuck that. Men first. I feel like he should shoulder the load. I do feel, but you know what? I was just telling my wife this yesterday because she asked me Friday. She's like, "What took you so long?" I met this dude at this bar and we just started, like, I felt like we just had like a man moment where we just getting our shit off.
That's so good.
But it was like, yo, like we were talking about like being in college and like all the shit that we like went through and everything, man. And it's just like, yo, man, sometimes, damn, I lost my train of thought a little bit, just like you did. But my point is that, oh, there we go. I got it right back on track. When I was in the master's program and when I was like towards the tail end of school, I saw the most people getting divorced that were married or break up in long-term relationships. And I thought to myself, I was like, yo, either one, somebody smartened up. And she was also telling, my wife was telling me that one of our friends, right, between me and her, the wife was talking bad about a husband really recently.
Her husband or someone else's husband?
Her husband.
Okay.
Right? And this wife is really educated and everything, went back to school, got all their stuff together, and the husband's not in the same bracket.
He didn't move up.
But she be talking shit about him as if like he ain't shit. And it's like usually when someone becomes educated or their eyes become open to certain things or
They're
whatever.
exposed to more,
yeah, you be like,
yeah.
oh, I deserve more than this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so like I saw it from men and women. I won't say it's just women. It was men and women. I saw women just at a high rate like, oh, we got a divorce or we're separated. We're no longer here. I'm like, bro, you was only here for 2 years at school. But that person on the other end was probably feeling upset because it was like, yo, I was going out working my regular everyday job, Walmart or something like that, just to make sure that you got up. And once you got there, it was kind of like, fuck you.
Right.
Yeah. So I feel you. I that's how she probably feels. Was like, yo, I brought you in this position, you know, and now when shit is low for me, where are you at to help me out? So I feel you on that. For him, I understand what he's saying too, because I come from that ilk where it's like, I need some assurances then. If I'm going to do this, I got to get something out of it. It sucks.
Yeah.
I get it, but I understand it.
It's like, well, where were my assurances then when I was letting you
Sure, they had a
live
house.
in this house? Yeah, but like my insurance to in this relationship, you know, like it sounds like, yeah, like that you're not going to get up on the come up and then dip once you got your bread, find yourself a new younger lady. Like, where were my assurances? I went in on this giving good graces. You're my man. Come on, move in. Come take care of your business. Focus on building, you know. But now all of a sudden he needs assurance. Like,
it makes it hard though, because I know I got a boy like this, and luckily he has his own condo too. But like his girl owns her own house too.
okay.
But he'll put money into like the renovations and shit. And I think this is where it's coming from, because I know inside info on that. Because like when shit hit the fan, when they get into a little argument or tiff, it's this is my house. And when you start doing shit like that, which we don't know, This is why I don't like knowing that information, because I love speculation.
Yeah.
Speculation's fun.
Okay.
And like if you saying shit like that, I can see why. You know what I mean? Like if you and we don't know, I wouldn't even say that. But like that would make me feel insecure about a situation to where it's like
I get that point.
I would take that stance.
Yeah.
That's my only thing, and maybe that's where my counter, my inference or what is that counter transference coming from? It's because it's like but you said it was your fucking house. Nah, man, it's our house. I built this shit brick by brick.
I built this.
Sounded like Franklin from.
That doesn't sound like respect amongst the relationship. That's why it doesn't feel good to me, regardless of if she does throw that in his face. Like that's not fair. That's very unfair.
That's so
regardless of whose house it is.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I feel.
And I think it's more like an experience thing, not an age thing. But like I think experience has taught me not to communicate like that. That experience would be like being here with y'all, being at my job. Like I didn't like how y'all was talking about male roommates and stuff earlier. Excuse me. I didn't live with. I think my wife was the first woman that I actually lived with. I've had girls live with me.
Your mama? That's crazy.
Yeah, because like I've had girls like stay over for maybe like 2 or 3 weeks straight, and I'd be like, "Oh, this is crazy," because like we getting into arguments and shit, and like you ain't got nowhere to go because they fixing your apartment. Like you gotta go. So like I was like, yo, whenever I do this, it's gotta be for sure.
Yeah.
Right? Especially if I'm romantically involved with somebody. I don't think I would have ever ran into a situation without someone thinking that I was, with the other community, which is nothing wrong with that, where I would just live with someone else. Like, but now the time period is like that. I would say 20 years ago, 15 years ago, it was unheard of for a male and a woman to like live together and coexist.
It was improper.
Yeah, it wasn't something, but it's so fucking expensive here that you got to do that now. Was it normal for somebody 75 years old to be fucking working at like KFC still?
It makes me so sad.
Oh, that makes me.
You get what I'm saying?
Or
like
grocery store.
Yeah, I do.
also asked, where the fuck are the teen workers at?
Yeah.
Dude, I
was like,
the workforce is 60 plus.
Yes. Mike and I always talk about like these jobs were originally created for the high schoolers,
Entry level.
And now you see older people, and it's so sad.
Yeah.
Barely. I was gonna say real quick, going back to the roommate thing. The one thing that irked me was when it was a male was the fact that I let him know from the beginning, like, hey, this is my home.
Right.
This isn't like a normal place that I'm just like renting out, that you can bring any energy in here. I really, really hope that you respect the fact that if you are shacking up, take it somewhere else. Because I'm not trying to have that kind of energy here. When I lived on my own, I was like personally attacked by someone who I dated before we had broke it off. And so I promised that I wasn't going to allow anybody in my space that wasn't supposed to be there. Like I wanted to be intentional with who came in the home. And so that was my problem. But I would later on find through the ring, like people were coming in when I wasn't there or what have you. And that was what would get on my nerve, because I'm like, this isn't, it's my home. Like it's
Damn, you got the ring camera? I don't know how I'm going to dodge that. Yeah, ring camera. That's what I heard about technology.
Do you see what I'm saying when I tell my daughter?
Our kids think that shit is just normal. I was like, damn, my mom had a camera. You know how much shit I would have got on.
But it's so normal that they forget that people are watching.
Right.
So you start telling your kids, don't forget.
That's a real thing.
You're
that you
on
just said.
camera, Corey.
Right.
You're riding. Oh, she blanked that out.
No, you can leave.
Okay, my bad. I didn't mean to say her
Chris' name 100 times.
Okay. I've
Shit,
my
she
bad.
got a whole Instagram. That shit over with.
Right? But yeah, she's riding her bike back and forth, and she wants to be silly and throw something. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just remind her all that.
I be right in front of them. They do stupid shit. You throwing rocks at our friend's house the other day, man. Just like this shit just hitting up against the window. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Oh, hey, what's wrong with you?
I came back from the car. I went to go grab something on the car, and I came back to the motel room, and Marvel was standing on top of the air conditioner.
Oh, in the window.
Had his whole face. I said, "How many neighbors walked by?" The neighbors probably like, "Where are your?"
You ain't never lied.
I'm like, "What are you doing,
they
bro?"
Sick of your shit. How much time we got left, man? Do I got time for some quick hitters? Oh my god. On the edge. Yeah, we'll make it quick. All right, here we go. Just so we can get through. I didn't think we were in here like this.
Wait, where are we at?
We're at 2 hours.
Oh my god!
I told you. See, there you go. He was nervous. I gotta stop saying that.
I seen daylight out there. I'm like, oh, it's only been like an hour.
Yeah, no. It's damn near 10 o'clock right now. Oh shit. See, fuck it. I'ma leave it. In the morning.
Yeah. AM.
Fun facts. In ancient Rome, urine was used as teeth whitener.
Wait, what?
Yeah. You know what's funny? Like, the reason why I said that...
Wait, no, what did you say?
Urine was used as teeth whitener.
They were putting piss in their mouth.
Yes.
Got it.
Now, I think of that, right? Because I always thought about what would happen 500 years from now or 1,000 years from now, the shit that we're doing where people be like, why the fuck were they doing that?
Yeah, Karl likes to be thinking
what
life would be like in the 1800s.
Like, why the hell would they have cars? They have smoke. Spaceship is way easier to travel by,
Why by land when you could be in the air?
Yeah, I think about that. Like, things like, because like whatever we're doing now, we always judge like what the past did, right?
Yeah.
But obviously it was a way of life of something that they were used to.
Yes.
I'm not trying to normalize pissing, but or like using piss for like teeth whitener. That's kind of crazy still.
Yeah. Maybe they boiled it or something.
Yeah,
because there is acidic.
I was thinking about that because don't they say for jellyfish?
Exactly.
They used to be like,
they say don't do that no more.
Not anymore, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you're not supposed to.
No, I found that out about a year ago.
Oh,
yeah. There's a few things I go down a rabbit hole on that like just spark from that time period where I just double check my shit. That's one of them. I'm
You
like,
gotta.
yeah, I can't think of another one off the top of my head, but there's a few things that I go and Google it because
You're like, dismantle that story.
my wife was telling me that Chat GBT is harmful to the environment because of the data space,
Oh,
but
my
that shit is so neat.
goodness.
Yeah, I need it
Yes.
Those computers are
But
causing
they're
so much.
working on it. It is. I love my
so
chat.
Much pollution. So much
But
pollution.
it's because of the water energy. So what it is they're harboring all their servers. They have these giant servers, obviously, and the servers have to stay cooled down. And so they're using like this water energy, like dam energy, to basically cool down these servers. And so the big aside the pollution from the plants is all of this water. But I was reading into it, and they are coming up quickly with alternatives.
they got to.
But in comparison to like all of the other pollutions and things, it's not like chat is, all of a sudden coming in and they're the big bad guys, but yes, there are some there are some effects, like anything, right?
Yeah,
technology always comes with effects to our environment and our surroundings. So
what would can I think of Lex say about this?
Yeah,
we go down a straight dark tunnel at an hour and 48. Last days. Right now, the world's so fucking crazy right now in regards to like the shit going on in LA and everything, and them sending the National Guard right now. That like, I don't feel like he was too off base.
Nah.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like and you know what? I'm gonna say this as a black man. It feel weird for it not to be us this time.
You said that.
No, real shit.
Like the heat is.
Yeah, but because it's like. Also, what makes it even worse, and I guess like y'all can speak more to this though, is that I'm not used to this brand of Latino people.
The Magna ones?
I'm not used to that. Like maybe you would see once, but they're like in bunches now.
Right.
Where it's like, fam,
That
2 generations ago, y'all
yeah.
wasn't here, fam, and you like, oh, it's
They
like
forgot.
you jump. Yeah,
They
I'll let y'all talk to it though.
No.
Y'all got any family members like that?
No, thank God.
Okay, that's good.
I will put that out there right away.
I do have a very close family member who is a Trump supporter, and
they're of the Latino community too.
Yes,
yeah, shit crazy. Still to this day now, even with all. What are the comments that they say when like they go in to pick up? Oh shit, this has
they're
been
old, so it's money. The main, I think, for like anybody who anybody who I hear argue for Trump, it always comes down to the economy. By the way,
what has he done?
Exactly. Did you see him and Elon Musk?
Their boyfriend fight.
Yeah, their boyfriend
their
fight.
Divorce.
They went at it
on Twitter.
And Elon Musk said the real reason
Do y'all
why
think Trump is like using this phone for real or somebody else?
No, it's definitely him.
I think it's him.
It's 100% him.
Okay,
the
keep going.
tantrums that get thrown out there and what he says.
No, he loves that power and attention. Yeah, he loves that. He basically has a microphone to the world with Twitter. But Elon, he said something. Elon made a remark about the budget, and then Trump said something like, "Well, if we cut Elon's programs, then the budget would improve significantly." And then Elon said, "The Epstein tapes aren't released because Trump's on them." They literally just were putting out it's like watching a married couple
soap opera of America.
like just freaking air each other's shit out on Twitter. It was
Why they show him the files? I don't get it. That's not a dude I would trust, man.
Bro, but
neither one of them are trustworthy guys.
Neither one of them. No, I saw a meme that said, "Great, now the libs and the Magnas are gonna key my Tesla."
Man, you right. That's why I got out that shit real quick.
Yeah, no, but the ICE raids, I'm glad that you brought them up because they are absolutely devastating in LA. It's like it's literally
war.
It's war, Jess. Like that is the best way to describe it. They were down there in Barrio Logan the other day raiding a really popular Mexican restaurant. Like they are just going to elementary school graduations,
Yeah.
Me and Jess had talked, and she had disclosed with me that one of her students asked her, like, are my parents going to be safe attending this award ceremony? She was getting a scholarship, I believe, and to have to be a young woman who works so hard to the point where you're getting a scholarship and you don't even know if your parents can come and watch you because of fear that they could be possibly picked up. You know, your girl Star, I saw, who we were just talking about, she had posted a call of action because one of the presidents of the unions in the LA district, who actually is documented, got swept up in a raid and accidentally arrested. And so they were calling all the union workers to go protest outside of the building in LA. So she made a great point. Oh my goodness. She was like, you know, for those of you who think, and these are Star's words, but they spoke to me. She was like, for those of you who think that this isn't a you problem, this isn't enough. I'm a citizen. I'm documented, that this isn't my problem. She was like, go look at the news. This is a man I know who's loved, respected in his community, who is a citizen, and he is literally sitting in a detention center right now because he got swept up. So, and he is not the only one. We've heard of lots of other Americans as well. And American documented, undocumented, I don't believe in that shit. People are people. And the fact that, like, these families are going through this trauma, this separation. I saw this video in New York of this. She was a tourist on a tourist visa visiting a Chilean woman. She got swept up in a sway. They saw somebody who was a Latino. They grabbed her thinking that she was, you know, undocumented, whatever. And her baby, her daughter, not baby, she was probably like 10, is screaming, crying. And in Spanish, she's like, it's okay, mija. And as she's getting detained, she's vomiting. She's bent over vomiting. And that scene spoke to me so distinctively because when Jaylee was 2 years old, she escaped from the house and I couldn't find her and I had to call the police. I got her back. Some neighborhood kids brought her back like a lost puppy down the street. Anyways, but when I finally had to get to that point where it had been too long and I couldn't find her and I had to call the police and say my daughter's missing, we were separated, I started vomiting. I'll never forget. And so when I see at that fear of, oh my God, I'm separated from my daughter. And I seen that mom vomiting because she realized she was being separated from her daughter. Like my insides were, like my heart physically aches talking about it because I can't explain that type of pain and fear. If you have not experienced it for yourself in some capacity or another, it's like nothing I can explain. And to see that we as Americans, we pride ourselves on being civilized. We have fucking literal masked terrorists walking down the street, snatching people off the street. What is this, fucking The Handmaid's Tale? Right. And it's hard because I have people who work in ICE. I have people that I love, that I care about, that are ICE agents, that do work for Border Patrol. And so, and I have other loved ones that are police officers. I have close, and so when I speak, I never want to feel them to feel as I'm attacking them, thank you, or disrespecting them. But it's also like, I'm sorry. This is wrong. And as someone who has, you guys all know that the his dad is undocumented. I don't care. You guys, I've disclosed on here what happened in my marriage. It was abusive. I still promise you the biggest fear in my life and the main reason why I didn't report the abuse, which I've talked about with both of you, was because I was scared of him getting deported. And every single day, I swear to you, when that man calls me for whatever reason, the first thing I think is he getting deported? Is he calling me because someone's picked him up? If I don't hear from him in a few days, I go into a panic because I'm like, did he get deported? Is he detained? What would I do? You know? And so this is like, it feels like a movie, but it's really real. And if we don't start doing things, it's going to get worse.
I don't know. The hard part was, I was telling Cesis earlier.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, I just feel like right now they just find a legal means to do it or say we'll deal with the repercussions later.
And that's they don't give a fuck.
No.
There's
so many laws already getting broken. I saw a video of someone from Congress going to check on, they have the right to go see people that are being detained to see what kind of conditions they are in LA or what have you.
Yes.
So they had to go under, I guess it's like a parking garage, it's like a detainment center. And so they were showing their badge or whatever and they were recording it live. And in the end, ended up
not letting.
They didn't let him go through, even though they're like, we're a member of Congress. This is a law. Blah blah blah, saying everything like by what section it is and everything of the law. They ended up just throwing gas, like tear gas, at them. So they ended up pushing them away out of the area.
That's
and then,
how they did not want them in there.
Yeah, and so in the end, even on the outside of the building, they were still. You can see that they're struggling to talk as they're recording themselves outside of the building. So that's the scary part as well, because I feel like a lot of the laws and legality of things are not going the way that the process is supposed to be. But besides that, like, it's hard. You know, I'm Mexican American. I was born here. My mom was born here. My dad was born in Mexico. He's a U.S. citizen now. But it's heartbreaking to me, like seeing the kids separated by their parents, the kids yelling and screaming, all the videos. I've had to take a step back from social media because in the end, being in social services, you see so much shit. You see so many crazy stories. You hear so many crazy stories about families and the fear. I mean, in the program that I work in, as soon as he came in, you know, it was like he came in like a wrecking ball and all the families were in fear and everybody wanted to just go back to Mexico, try to figure out a way to not worry about being deported and separated from the kids. Because the biggest thing is, you know, it sucks that we're having to make these plans where if you do get picked up, who's going to take over picking up your kids? They don't give you that opportunity. Even if you're in the home with the child, they're going to go to the system until they figure out what's next with them. And then you have an unaccompanied minor, right? So I don't know. I can speak of this for so long, and I'm going to end it there just saying it's heartbreaking. I feel like in the end, it's not even political at this point.
It's malicious.
And the humanity I fear of where we're going.
It is a true lack and loss of humanity, because especially when we think about it, you know, let's look at it as numbers. Some people, for whatever reason, they can't see the humanity part. They don't care, right? You hear a lot of times when it comes to undocumented people, well, why did they come here? Why didn't they go the legal route? Why didn't they go the proper route?
That shit hard as hell.
There's so many different barriers. But what I would like to say now to all of those people who always want to use that argument, so why isn't your government, your president going the legal route? Okay, you guys always want to stand on that. My other point is, we're always talking about tax dollars, money. You're talking about the burden, right? The taxpayer's burden. So by you guys targeting working adults who actually contribute to the economy, often do jobs that Americans don't want to do, often pay taxes, because there's this misconception that they don't pay taxes. That's not always true. That they're getting all these free resources. Definitely not true. Don't even qualify.
Yeah, they don't qualify.
But now that their parents, who are actually the ones working those jobs that Americans don't want to work, are gone, and these children are getting turned over to the services, who's going to take care of the kids and who's going to be footing the bill? The taxpayers. So it frustrates me. I'm like, you guys are like, you don't think this shit through.
What I tell you?
You're scared about money, and you're scared about the rapists and they're this, they're that. No, they're not. They're hardworking fucking people trying to make a surviving out here for their family. You're so worried about money and them taking your resources. Your dumbasses are leaving all their kids abandoned, and now you are going to have to pay for them.
Yeah. Hey, I'm going to tell you what. This
Great job.
This is where I'm going to end it with, because I feel like what you saying right now, I want to see how you do in Florida for that amount of time.
And I won't be there. And everybody who knows I'm
you go to a real swing state. And then you brought up another one, like Nevada, like that flips every once in a while. I was like, yo, because like Vegas
all
is
you need
also
is Arizona, Texas.
Yeah, Vegas is really ugly because of like the type of people they got there. Hell yeah, it's just like Florida almost.
See, and so whenever I tell
when I start seeing them little scooters and the people that be sitting in them, you know what I'm talking about. They fit the mold. And those
retired with the American flag.
Yeah, with the 2-strap shoes. Talking about my taxes. I know what type of white folks we talking about.
With the 2-strap.
I'm like, yo, I can't deal with this. Oh, and then they commercials is wild. I mean, I talked about that last time I was here, man. Like, yo, a San Francisco liberal.
The dirty lips are trying to get the transgenders to read stories to your children so they can molest them.
I'm done.
No, you fucking weirdos. It's the white old creepy guy at the park.
We're weird. All right, real quick. Silly putty was failed rubber substitute.
Silly
Wow.
putty.
Silly putty was a failed rubber substitute.
Wow.
That's so cool. They couldn't make it hard, I guess.
Shit, they made more money off of it being a toy, I'm sure.
Honestly.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
used to love
That's
that.
cool.
The word swims upside down still looks like swims.
If you were to flip it?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Like completely upside down. 40 is the only number that is spelled alphabetically in order.
Forty.
Yep. And then Jay's going to probably try this instantly. Your foot is roughly the same length as your forearm. Yeah, I knew you wanted.
Yeah.
It says roughly.
Roughly.
Hey, it's not
Oh,
all.
because it's not my hand.
Yeah, that's just your
You
forearm.
can't include your
Yeah.
elbow.
It's actually right. Yeah.
Bro, heel to toe is elbow
Yeah.
to
I'm
wrist.
gonna need to stretch before I do what you just did.
Now you just need to measure. When you need new shoes. Now
Yeah.
Hey,
Zapatos.
Yeah.
I don't be at the store.
see, you ready for your TikTok life hacks? That was a life hack right
See,
there.
I'm telling
Nah,
you.
this shoe ain't gonna fit. Hell no. It ain't gonna fit.
Put your shoe on your forearm right now. There ain't no way your forearm is as the same size as your shoe. Damn.
I guess that's the toe room right there, right? Because that'd be exactly
Yeah.
right. Yeah, you're right.
Damn.
I ain't doing that at the store.
It doesn't feel like, when you look at it, doesn't it seem like your forearm is much longer than
Well,
your foot?
Isn't it also like they used to say, like, when you wanted to measure a pant, when you were a kid, did you
Oh,
ever
shit.
measure with your hand from?
Nah.
You put the pant size, like the waist,
leg?
the
Oh.
waist. You put the waist from your elbow to your. No, that was maybe when I was a kid, a Mexican thing. They would always measure the waist. Like they would say that your waist is the same size from your elbow to your
Fingertip.
your fingertips. That never worked because I always got the wrong pair of pants apparently.
My pants don't fit. Like I
Yeah.
gotta tailor mine. That's why I don't wear jeans no more. Somebody was asking like, why you wear jeans? Because I like the way that I want my shit to look.
Yeah.
They don't sell it like that. I gotta go
You
take
got
it to
that
the
cost
tailor.
money.
Yeah, I gotta go
Yeah.
to like add 25 to whatever them
I've
jeans
had to
cost.
tailor every jean since I was a
Yeah,
little
I'm
girl.
cool. My thigh's too big, so that
Nah, but
ain't
when you're
gonna
chubby
work.
and Short.
All right, let's get up out of here, man. That
My
was
mom
it.
used to budget the tailor into my jeans. She'd be like, okay, you got this amount of money for jeans, but they're going to be $5 a piece to budget. So I would have to lose a pair of jeans so I could make sure.
Wow.
Stick it, Jay. 3 cheers. 3 cheers. Anybody got anything they want to celebrate or anything like that in these hard times? You know what?
first.
I want to celebrate Gavin Newsom for having a pair, though. He going against this dude right now. I
Yes.
like this. We might
How about
become
we
our
take
own
a tax?
country.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
You want our taxes taken from you?
Yeah.
Provide.
We ain't paying shit.
I've always liked Gav.
Yeah, some people hate him.
No,
right?
a lot of people, I like him.
But you know what? The ones that hate him be the ones that love him. So
He has his own podcast. Have you
Does
ever
he?
watched his podcast?
Nah, I didn't know he did.
Yeah.
I want him. I'm
pretty sure.
I want to see. No, what I want to do is see him like. Oh, that's gross.
That is gross.
I want to see. Yeah,
I'm
look,
glad
he
I-
even turned away.
I'm glad
I want
I
to
didn't
see him when he don't have no cameras on.
Oh.
Like fuck this motherfucker. I'm so sick of talking to him. I had to talk to him for 40 minutes
Yeah.
yesterday not to send the National Guard. Look, bitch ass. I'm sick of him.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I want to know that, Gavin.
Yeah, me too.
But go ahead. That was mine.
Okay, I have 2. I have one. I want to give a 3 cheers to. Actually, I'll save that one for next week. So I'll just do my 3 cheers is for the I met today when I was at the resource fair. Like I got the card. My 3 cheers is for the new Children's Museum. I met.
I thought they lost funding.
So they did, but they are still honoring the museum. It's a program, I forgot what it's called, Museums for All.
Yes.
And what it does is it allows anybody who has an EBT card. You can go any day of the week. They're open 7 days a week now. And you show them your EBT card. You don't have to do any prerequisites. You just go. Show them your EBT card where you would pay, and it's only $3 for your entire party.
No, that's not
so
bad.
for whoever's
That's
with
a
you.
win.
And then, so I met Julie, the director of development, and Shelly, the grants manager.
Look like we're going together.
And
I'll give you 50 cents.
Yeah, they were. I got you,
I
Karl.
know where I'm gonna find the coins from. They said they're gonna start making pennies and shit.
Yeah. But next Saturday they're having a big event. There's going to be live artists out there. There's going to be lots of activities, and admission is completely free next Saturday. So for those of you who aren't EBT rich, you can still go out there for free and check it out. And they've had a lot of new installations. She said that. Parents and children love it. So downtown, there's lots of free parking. And they were just so kind, so nice, and they really want families to utilize their beautiful museum. So free. Oh, so $3 with your EBT card for everybody in your party, and then the NAT, which I keep wanting to call the Natural History Museum, but is the NAT something else downtown in Balboa Park? It's the one. It's like animals. Okay, well I know it's like involved with animals, but the NAT, which is located in Balboa, closer to the Zoo Parkway kind of entrance, it's free. If you have your EBT card, it's completely free.
Let's do it.
So I just want to give a shout out to those. I believe the program is called Museums for All. It's actually a national program. I found out today. I'll get the name for you guys for sure, but it's a national program. So if you receive SNAP or EBT benefits and you're one of our listeners in another state, go and check out the website, because then it will give you a list of all the museums and attractions that will your EBT card will either give you a significant discount or free. So it's summertime, y'all. Don't be staying inside with those kids. Take them outside and connect. Don't just take them outside to ignore them. Take them outside to connect. That's my 3 cheers.
Connect at least 4. All right, let's do it. Jay? 2?
I was still trying to figure out the NAT. I was trying to figure out San Diego Natural History Museum. It doesn't say it. Also known as the NAT.
Yeah, so it is the Natural History Museum. That's funny what the
It's
NAT.
called the NAT?
Yeah, but
No,
so the Natural
cool.
right?
Where do they go with the acronym?
That's what I was trying to figure out. But I love the Natural History Museum. It's my favorite because it has all the dinosaurs and stuff. So we're gonna be out. We're gonna be flashing that EBT card. Shit.
I think it's only fair to 3 cheers you guys. I mean, this podcast, I've been listening for a very long time.
How long have you been listening? And how did you start listening real quick?
So, backstory, I started listening back when Star and Cecil were here. Kendrick was on the show. And then at one point you had, did Mercedes Tiggs come on here? She's a social worker. Or was it? I know you had Holly. She was a baker.
I had Holly.
Hayes.
Oh, you had a Holly on here?
Yeah,
You know
she was
her?
on here. Yeah,
I not personally, but I am a fan.
yeah.
Oh, Cecil met her.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
her.
So I found out about the podcast through them, through watching them on the podcast, and that's where I started following. And then, of course, I was like more connected to it. So 3 cheers, the podcast has been going on, and obviously I understand like you wanting to kind of take a pause for the cause, because I know it could be tiring. Like I was saying, I was hosting an open mic that we went 10 years straight, elevated, and in the end we just decided like life happens, children, people get married, children grow up, you have other priorities that have to take precedent over sometimes the hobbies, and so I get it when you need to just take a step back and take care of yourself.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, applaud to you guys, and of course to my girl here. I mean, I know that everybody be talking about her trauma bonding and everything like that, but I think she's an amazing woman, amazing mother, and I know that I see her climbing this mountain that she was very slowly to get there, but you're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm all here for it.
Well, thank you. I love you, Jess, my girl.
All right, shit. I guess we out here. Am I the only one hot?
No, it's hot.
It's hot.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I know.
I wiped my sweat a few times, but I felt like the air was on for a little bit. Fuck all that.
I'm
All right,
taking
we
this
out.
out.